Good evening, one and all. It is Sunday, it's the end of the week, and it's time that we jump into some more good old Warframe. Welcome everyone, hope you're doing well where you are around the world. Apparently, Happy Honeymoon's streak reset. Yep, that does happen. If you miss a stream, the streak does vanish. I mean, that's how it works. It's a streak, you know? It's a run of them. But welcome in all the same. And I hope everyone is indeed doing quite well. So today we have 3 focuses on the stream here. 3 focuses in a total. First one is going to be Sagek Prime, which I have yet to even level up. I'll be quite honest. I appear to have been very focused on almost anything else, which, considering how long it took me to make the longest farm video, which will be out of date in a month, it is what it is on that side. And then there is the Galariak Prime. That also I need to both level up and have a proper look at. We'll get to those as well. And then the third thing, which I know many of you are very excited for, that is the Warframe Heirloom Collection giveaway. And when I say collection, I mean the collection of it. That comes with the whole lot all in one, courtesy of DE. So it's not just the skin, you get the whole pack. You do indeed get the whole pack. And the Clash Point dropping their prime here once again up onto 3 months in a row, no less. You got that lovely, I believe that's silver badge next to your name now. Cheers indeed for that, Clash Point. Cheers indeed. And following
Here's
quick
a
off of
toast
that.
to 6 months of stalking Kingy. The 7 confuses my simple mind.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean there. Yo, if you've subscribed for 7 months, this is the start of your 7th month. So that means you've done 6 months of follow me around here on Twitch. Yeah, I suppose that's kind of how it works. All the same, thank you very much, Logan, for continuing support into that 7th month. Cheers as well. Cheers as well. Now, with regards to the giveaway, the way this is going to work is rather than doing a single draw right at the end of stream, which means only the people who join in right at the end of stream get to take part in it. Instead, there will be 3 draws throughout this stream. There'll be the draw in about an hour's time, another one in about 2 hours, and another one in about 3 hours, basically the end of the stream. I will be picking 5 people with each of those draws. Those will go together into one final giveaway draw. And it is one of those 15 names that will indeed be claiming the pack. So it means that the more times you're around here on stream, the more times you enter in, the more chances you have of being in that finale. You only get to be in there once though, so if you do get picked as one of the 5 names in the first draw, you don't need to join on the subsequent ones. You won't get any extra benefit for it. Simple as that, really. Means everyone's got a fair chance based on time zones, based on just being present in the stream and whatnot. Everyone gets a fair opportunity. So we're trying that out as an alternative here, rather than the all for one at the end. I hope that makes sense. Alright, so Sagek and Galariak. Now these are fake primes, they're not actual real primes. You don't get to trade them over with Barrow for ducats. He wants nothing to do with them despite their names. And you don't get them from relics. But we already knew those bits and pieces. What I'm more curious about is their unique features and what makes them interesting as actual weapons. With how many weapons there are in the game at this point, it is increasingly difficult for DE to create something new and interesting, of course. But with this one, we got gain 10% final critical chance for gain 10% final critical chance for each unique status effect on the target. Now, I do assume that is just a final crit chance, so it's after all bonuses are calculated, but we know this game and its tooltips not being exactly accurate from time to time, so we can certainly look into just how final that final crit is. Yes. And then for Sagek Prime, its unique trait is after inflicting a critical hit, next shot has a 6% chance of adding 5 status effects, which makes up for its absolutely abysmal 1% status chance. This one I'm not too excited for, I'll be very honest with you. I'm willing to try it out to see what we get, but coming from a position of no status, oh but maybe status, it's a choice. It's certainly a choice. It does mean that modding for that is going to be a little bit weird. modding for that is going to be a little bit weird, but it also means that we don't need to mod for status chance itself, as we can't, really. Doing so would just be modding for nothing. You might as well try and put a slash mod on the Foreman. So yeah, we'll see how that all actually comes together. That is the idea of what we're going to work through. So you're still asking for my graphic settings. Not sure why you need the graphic settings, but I will open them up very quickly and you can take screenshots. How's that? Because not the main focus today. Let's see. What video? There's the stats, all of them. These are things that I have turned on. Yeah. Alright. Review that at your leisure. Barrow doesn't care about primes from the past, even though relics technically was from the past. It's just how it works, isn't it? But I make sure, hey, Mr. Gann, you look great today. Oh, thank you. Much appreciated. Alright. So, let's start with Sagek. Because it's one that I expect to be less effective, I'm going to start here, and then we can build up into hopefully something a little bit more powerful, shall we? So, it does come... I've got the capacity already set up because I've already got the Orokin Catalyst in there, thanks for being gifted by D, but it does come with 2 polarities built in over here as well, so that is nice. But beyond that, let's see. I mean, it's a automatic, high base fire rate, bullet hose looking weapon. Doesn't look too crazy. I mean, we've got a bunch of empty space down here. That's how simplistic this is. Doctor sleep time, that's not how it works. You need to wait for the periodic draws. They will be announced. Don't just randomly type commands into chat. Come on now. Now with a 2.2 times critical damage modifier, that's not a very high crit damage modifier. Like I said, we're going to have extra room to build into it and still end up with a hybrid setup. Question is, what kind of hybrid do we want to build into? Because it has got innate slash on here, but that slash is, if that breakdown on there is to be taken as gospel, that slash is less than 50%. You know, you can see 11.6 out of 26 total. So it's not a very high slash. But a slash build is still an option for it. An alternative would be to just go something absolute turbo basic and build straight into a heat setup. But that is running under the assumption these statuses are going to be worth it. If we have a 100% critical chance, then every shot will be critical, which means that every shot, bar the very first one, will get the status bonus. And that status bonus... Oh, sorry, every shot has that 6% chance of getting the status bonus. Sorry, it's not 100%. And so 6% of 5 status... We can swing that around to being 6% of 500% status chance. Multiply those two together, you end up with a functional 30% status chance, right? That's what it functionally comes down to, an unmoddable, unshakable 30% status chance, which combined with 1% here is a 31%. Well, just saying before multi-shot is relevant here. At least it should be relevant, because my understanding is that each individual pellet or individual shot should be its own shot for the consideration. Now, the question is how are we going to get to see this in action? Is the game going to display it? Because a 6% chance is a very low chance to observe. Very, very low chance to observe. Yeah, unless Meljade has some great wisdom behind those 2 words there, as far as I can figure, this would just be a functional 30% critical chance. Sorry, 30% status chance once you reach the critical chance of 100%. Anywhere below that, you're basically dividing out the status as well. So with that in mind, first things first then is, if I type it when I can click it, critical chance. We're going to want to have that critical chance one way or the other. I could go for the Creeping Bullseye, I can go for the Prime Pistol Gamut, there's not a lot of difference between them. A big detail is that either one of them won't get us to 100% outright. I believe there isn't another option we have that just gives us a basic bonus. We instead have Pistol Acuity, which is going to take away multi-shot as well, and is only on weak points. Not a great choice, I'd say. Or Crosshairs, both Hydraulic Crosshairs and Galvanized Crosshairs, which can get us even more of the crits overall. And if we're going to be fitting one of them, we might as well put the 2 of you in. Might as well put the more powerful one in, because we're going to be utilizing that full power. Now, in terms of getting over the 100% threshold, any activation of this will be enough, because that's a 36-point bonus. So, Creeping Bullseye or Prime Pistol Gambit can work. I'm not sold on it being Creeping Bullseye right now, but I'm just going to get started with that there. I guess the question is, does multi-shot reroll the 6% chance? And so, my understanding is it should do, because usually the game treats all shots independently. They roll their own critical chance in the first place. So it should be independent, but that's part of what testing is. You'll notice we are just getting started, but yeah. Meljay saying, the wiki states that effects are triggered separately for each bullet from multi-shot or target hit from punch through. Cool, good to know what the wiki says. We're going to be testing. Now, we got the crits there. Let's clear the air on this whole activation, shall we? Let's just see a little bit of that in action. So, I don't want to be on Shade. I want to be on, actually, just no companion right now. Let's switch to... Let's see, do I have a very neutral setup here for duration? 103% duration is actually pretty damn neutral, but I have it on both of them, so we'll just run with this one. It won't get in the way of anything. Oh yeah, let's get testing, because, you know, that is the entire point of being live and testing these things. If you want to see just conclusions, there is a wiki, and there'll be potentially eventual videos if there's anything worthwhile to talk about. It's all about the process here. So let's process it. Okay. Yeah, there is one Sagek. So let's go Steel Power, pause AI, maximum level I can do in here, and let's go for an Xmas, just so they're nice and resilient. And if I pop single shot on the head there, we've got the crits for a bit. Yeah, we see that one orange crit also led into just a bunch of 5 statuses at once. Anything that's going to interact? Okay. Cal Jade, thank you very much for dropping your sub here once again, up onto 19 months. Quite a bit there. Much appreciated. Hope you are doing well today. Okay, so keeping those crits up. Yeah, we got the crits available to us. Just waiting to see if there is any UI indication I can work with. Refresh the crit bonus. Come on. Anytime this entry. Boy, that 6% really does not want to come up a lot, does it? There we go. I didn't actually see anything pop up on my UI on the top right there. Nothing on the buff bar. So it just kind of happens quietly. Okay. It does just happen quietly. What's the second from the right buff icon? Good question. That is increased punch through while Warframe is more than 450 armor. Ah, yes. That is on my Burston. That's what it is. Is the Warframe Arsenal plugin working right now? Let me check. Did I remember to turn that one on? I probably did not. No! My bad, sorry. I had it turned off because of Evil Line Stream. It's back on now. You might need to refresh for it. Okay, so the buff does not appear on the buff bar. It just silently happens, which is a thing. So that does make this a little bit more difficult for us to verify what's going on. Let's see about modding for multi-shot now, and just try and figure out what will come of that. So, we can jump straight into a 120%, and my options thereafter is just another 60% there. That doesn't stack with it. So we can get 180, but that's a awkward number. So I'm going to just go for a flat 100%. So we always get exactly 2 shots per shot. I just want to see if anything curious can happen with it. Like, do we see both a status hit and a non-status hit? Do we see just some interesting results, basically? We got permanent crit here. Okay, so we got 1 with status and 1 without, because there's only 5 status effects there. So regardless of the multi-shot, there does appear to be some distinction. So either what happened there is we got the trigger prior to the shot, and then it actually happened on the first part of the multi-shot, or we got the trigger as part of the multi-shot and it applied to the second hit. I don't know which one, just it happened. They were distinct, at least in that regard. The question is, I suppose, can I get 2 to happen at the same time? That is going to take quite a few shots to wait for that to happen. Let's think, statistically speaking, if you've got a 6% trigger chance, that is about 1 in 15, just less than 1 in 15, it's about 1 in 16-ish. So any given shot could have that 1 in 16, and then there's a 1 in 16 again for the second one to trigger at the same time. Oh boy. Happy Moon saying 2 multi-shots should be 12% chance if each multi-shot triggers it, or is math wrong? My question is, what are you trying to calculate there, Happy Hour Money Moon? You've given a number 12% chance. What do you think you've calculated there? Bearing in mind, when you're dealing with status chance, you're dealing with combinatorics, all that kind of stuff. So, in the context of combinatorics, you've taken 6%, multiplied it by 2. What number do you think you're expressing? Alright, let's have a look what's going on here. Can we get... So it's 1 trigger on its own. We got a puncture and 4 slashes there. Gonna wait for that to time out. In fact, you know what? Let's grab a low duration level, so this will make testing a little bit easier. Do any of these have low duration? They shouldn't, but yeah, none of them have low duration, so let's go for a low duration approach. By just breaking the setup here. That's the wrong one, that's not what I needed. Now mind is the long duration. I need the short duration one. Fleeting expertise, there we are. That can go on to here, so that'll give me a 42% duration. Oh, have I got duration shards? Alright, yeah, I have. I was wondering where the rest of the duration was coming from. 42 is fine, though. Okay, so Happy Hour Moon saying, chance of the S status bonus triggering off 1 hit with 2 multi-shots. So I don't think what you're calculating is what you've written, no. Please tell me pronunciation of combinatorics is a Ken thing and not a UK thing. It could be a UK thing, it could be a Ken thing, it could be I've read it in a book thing.
Combinatorics.
That sounds horrible. Combinatorics. Nah, I don't like it. I refuse. Combinatorics. Because it's combinations. Alright, continuing on. Happy Hour. So, think about it like relic opening Happy Hour. If you've got a Radiant Relic, 10% chance of a gold item, right? What you've said is, with multi-shot, the equivalent on relics there would be if you've got 2 relics at once, then you'd have a 20% chance. Is the way you're handling the numbers. So if you had 10 relics, that'll be a 100% chance you're going to get it. And you know for a fact, from the way I've just described that, you don't get 100%. You can open 10 Radiant Relics and not get the gold. Or you could open 10 Radiant Relics and get 10 golds. So the chance of a status trigger happening here from 2.0 multi-shot isn't just 2 times the 6%. So the question we have here isn't about the multiplication of it. It's more about how does it carry over the triggers. Microbe, the answer to that is neither. They have different jobs. You're asking what's better, a shovel or a pickaxe? Different jobs. So, what I'd like to know is, we already know we can get the status to trigger on one of the two shots. Can I get the status to trigger on both shots? Or is it locked to only being one per firing? Indicated that multi-shot is disrespected. That is the question. So, it is unfortunately just a case of firing until that happens. Wow, a single proc. So while 1% status chance triggered. Well, that's cute. Okay, so that's a single proc. Or a single trigger. Yeah. Very true, Mirai. Very true. Okay, that was a single trigger. Wait for the status go. Thank you, low duration Lavos. Single trigger. Now we're going to get single trigger about 15 times for every double trigger, if the double trigger is even possible. So unfortunately, I'm going to be here a hot second, waiting for this to occur. That's a normal proc. Single trigger. The other question I have is, can we trigger normal status and triggered status at the same time? Although the true effects of that are almost immaterial to care. Because if they can't trigger side by side, we're missing out on 1% out of a 501% shot. No one cares at that point. So much math. Hello and welcome to the Kenjaneer streams. This is how I give you your answers. By actually checking. And you check with math. That's why I'm going for the headshot here. I'm just making sure I keep up the crit bonus without having to think about it. Get another single trigger. Come on. I have to be careful as well because I don't want to double shoot and blind a result. That single trigger. Single trigger. Might as well just keep hitting the reload each time that happens. Normal status proc. Single trigger. You're very welcome, Raven Fox. And that's alright being a YouTube lurker, or just lurker in general. No one says you have to constantly post in the chat or post at all. If you're just enjoying the ride, enjoy the ride. Happy Hour saying, even if it's possible, a 6 status will proc on 0.06% of shots. Exactly, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like basically nothing to worry ourselves with. You'd be right, Daft Techno. I bounce between American English and British English from time to time. Various words, phrases, whatnot just kind of slip through because, let's face it, when there is massive cultural exchange between two countries using exceedingly similar languages, bits bleed through. But yes, if you want to be all technically about it, you're absolutely right, and are the kind of teacher that most students hate. It's like the difference between schedule and schedule. Schedule's the Americanized version. Schedule. Yeah, schedule is the Americanized. Schedule is the British. Do you know how many British people know that? It ain't many. I've had that conversation a few times. What happened first? The double 6% or running out of ammo? Hard to say, honestly. It's all up to chance. Yeah, now armor, funnily enough, armor is one that I'll largely spell quote-unquote incorrectly, even in the captions which go on my videos, despite them being set to British English. And that's because when I'm referring to armor in Warframe, I'm referring to the armor stat in Warframe, and the armor stat in Warframe is spelled ARMOR. And so I'll write it as ARMOR. Because in the English version of the game, that's how it's spelled. It may seem like a needless specificity, but in terms of keeping the terms to as they're displayed in game, that seems like a better choice than forcibly translating things just for the sake of translating. Now, as for the color of something, that is COLOUR. Right, this still hasn't triggered. It's getting a little unusual. Ancestral saying, what if you max that bottle shot as high as you get it? So we tested 6% more pellets when heard right. Let me think. So if we run a higher multi-shot, the highest I can get is, I think, like 280%. Because keeping up kill stacks will be just a menace in itself. So we'd have a 2 or 3 shot chance, and if it double triggers anywhere within that, that is still a confirmation of a potential multi-shot double trigger, yeah. Yeah, I think that should be fine, yeah. Does multi-shot make economy to charge faster? Only if the target didn't die to the first shot out of the multi-shot. So individual hits do give you more charge, but dead bodies don't give you more charge. Even if they died in the process of the other bullet getting ready to go through their body. This is a problem for burst weapons like the Burston, because if the first pellet is lethal, pellets 2 and 3 just do nothing for your charge. It is a pain on lower tier missions. But yeah, let's max out that multi-shot. Might as well. Yeah, that is a negative to multi-shot. We don't want that. So this is as high as I can get the multi-shot without juggling kill stacks all the time. We'll just roll with that. Oh, yeah, dog videos. I will let you know when there is something to join in. That'll be in about, roughly, half an hour's time. Okay, so we got a single trigger. Ooh, there's another normal status one. I'm doing double shots. I've got to be very careful on those double shots. There's a double shot again. The fire rate is so high on this thing, I have to very, very carefully just feather the fire button. Because if I get a double shot and see the statuses pop up, I can't go on that basis. I could try and go back into video to see if the info's there, but if they happen to land in the same frame due to lag or whatnot, then it's just a wasted test. Give it a moment. God's sake. Yeah, there's no way of getting around this. Now, so far, we've gone through a lot of ammo without this triggering, but no. Is there a negative fire rate mod? I have it equipped. I have my companion taken off to remove the fire rate bonus it normally ships with. Too early, Glomp Ninja. Wait for me to actually announce something. Okay. Let's cycle Xmas. No, it's a speed debuff, it's not a fire rate debuff. I was gonna say I could get an Arctic one, but that probably won't work. Are there any fire rate debuffs? Other ones I can pick up? Yeah, so enemy agility is an increase. We don't want an increase. No, 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 no. Nope, nothing. Just nothing. Great. Okay. Yeah, no fix for that. Okay. Have to be a Riven. I'm not going to seek out a minus fire Riven for this, for the test. I'm sure you can understand why. Worst case, I can play the clip back. Yeah. It's just frustrating if I have to do that way. That wasn't there, that was two separate ones. Double fire. Double fire. Come on. I'm starting... Oh. Nope, that wasn't it. I'm starting to get the impression, with how many single triggers I've had, that the double trigger just isn't going to happen. And if so, that actually really puts a damper on this. That really puts a dampener on this. Because not only would that take our initial assumption of 30% stage chance and hurt it, it actually hurts it directly proportional to the amount of our multi-shot. So like with a 3.3 multi-shot, you'd be getting equivalent to like 9% bonus. If that. At that point, you might as well just not have a status perk. That was a double fire. We need to go through the clip. Ah! Brother only saying, would it be easier to mag dump the target until we see the double trigger, then see how many rounds are left in the magazine? So if we mag dump, there'll be a constant string of single triggers, and seeing in that there was a double trigger would take longer than just slowing down our shots. Is there an ability where you get more multi-shots? There are a handful of abilities, but they don't give you a lot. Octavia is one of them, yeah. And again, downside there is waiting out the single triggers is also adding on time. So I got levels here reducing our stage duration down. Let's grab the video editor. Let's have a look at that little clip just recorded, because there was a possible double trigger, and given how low the chance is, I ain't gonna miss out on that. It's only low when we're single shot firing like this in actual gameplay. A double trigger could be more substantial. So let's just grab this into my testing setup. Alrighty. Need that track. That to me looks like we have indeed got a double trigger. Check the ammo. Oh wait, I fire 2 shots. There, from 72 to 74. 74, 72. So when do they hit? We got one hit there. Second hit. I think, yeah. Yeah, we could be certain at this point. They are separated. We can be certain. But that is from a single multi-shot burst there. The 344, 344, 610 is happening all in one singular shot. And then a second shot that I accidentally double fired comes out afterwards for neither triggering. Woo! Okay. So yes, it can double trigger. We got a little bit screwed there, but we can indeed double trigger it. Those of you using !enter, thank you very much for paying attention to the post on Discord. You've not paid attention to it. There is a giveaway on the screen at the moment. Please do wait. Did I order the Warframe dice set? I did not, no. I don't have a lot of disposable income, I'll be honest. So, Kaz, have you just arrived, or did you ignore what I said 10 seconds ago? Right, let me do something here. Can I... Let's do this action. Chat message, add. There we go. Can't use that. Yep, nope, don't work. Alright. That's frustrating. Can I edit you in a useful way? Yes. There we go. Right then. That works. 5 bits more hydrate? Cheers. Actually command's picking up nothing. Ooh, I must not have linked that one. My bad. Alright, we'll break off to fix that as well. One moment. We'll take just a moment to implement. Go to all videos, search for Oraxia. Grab link. Verify no command. Verified. Bam. Now it's a command. Banshee doesn't have a video. Alright then. There we go. Fixing things live. Why not? So, back to the gun itself. Daft Techno says, spent more than care to think about tabletop, on tabletop gaming accessories over the past few years. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. What have we learned on the Sagek so far? We've learned that you need to turn up to streams to catch the live stuff. Sorry about that. Don't worry, we'll be finding out more as we go. Okay. Right, multi-shot does indeed get respected by unique trait. We can get more than one trigger in the same shot. Despite multi-shot being in the same shot. It just works. The only remaining question there, I suppose, is... No, actually, no. No, I don't have any remaining question on that one. It just works. So that is good. That is good. So, from this point then, it is a matter of how to mod this up for maximum effect. What I'm honestly thinking is if we do something like that, something like this, we've got a Bugsy Yojo. Yeah, Bugsy Yojo, subscribing with the Prime. Thank you very much for dropping out here. Welcome to the channel proper. Enjoy your lovely blue sub badge and all the other bits and pieces go along with that there. Cheers. Okay, so we need critical damage. That is an obvious pickup here. Now, that one's critical bonus is not a lot, but it does give you punch through as well. That one's critical bonus is higher for a teeny tiny drop in actual damage. And then we got prime target crack, which is just nearly double again for no negative. However, we start to run into capacity issues because this is as yet unranked unformed. And we can slap this in here as well with some... at this point, it's probably gonna just be a good old deadhead approach. Well, good thing I updated the enter command. Right! Yeah, as soon as we can't fit that one on the moment, might as well just slap that in there for now. So, this needs leveling as a matter of priority. Turns out earlier I did set up a floating Vorman build, so let's use the floating Vorman build to just quick level that. I'm just going to slap like 3 Vormer into it, that should cover most setups. Let's go. To fix levels duration? I should probably do that as soon as we get back from this run, yes. That would suck otherwise. Tell you what. What do you mean invalid launch point? There we are. Okay. They're moving. I clearly wasn't high enough. Next. We'll come over this way. Is that the wrong one? There it is. Because these guys should be unmoving, and that'll be great enough to just kind of build stealth bonus off. There we go. Bring that over here. And because I'm not leveling the Warframe, just the gun, I don't need to get out of the Arcwing to do it. Got it. Yep, give it a moment. I don't see an Xmas on this one. That is unfortunate. Still kill these ones. They're just not anywhere near as much affinity. There is Xmas. 3, 2, 1. 62,000. A lovely chunk of affinity to get right there. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that's 1.3k. 65k. I mean, the difference is obvious. Do we see the Xmas? I don't think the Xmas has spawned this time. 3, 2, 1. Boop. Yeah, still get 12k from the bombard there, but it's nowhere near as much as a Xmas gives. That is what I really want, is the Xmas. I'm once again not seeing them. That's a few dead spawns. Not a fan. Take a little bit on the way through, but it ain't great. There's an Xmas. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. 64k. Sagek is nearly leveled. 3, 2, 1. Nearly. Let's play over this side. Xmas is there. 3, 2, 1. Gotta love the recoil and shake on that. But it is now leveled. Let's go fix my Lavos and then level it again. Wow, I just lose all the speed on that. Nah, it might not be a strong build, this one. No, of course it's not. It's the floating build. Which, considering I'm in Arcwing, I don't even need. Yeah, let's fix the Lavo build. Hello there, Elsie. Hope you're doing well today. Move by back on there. There we go. That is fixed. Right then. Sagek, let's slap a former onto you. Courtesy of Mirrorlab, I still have over 100 Omniformers, so I am perfectly fine. You just slap whatever I want please onto that one and go again. We'll have this leveled in short order. The melee isn't going to be as simple to do, but it's fine. Up we go into the sky, fly over the top. 3, 2, 1. Let's start building stealth bonus. There we go. 45k off that Xmas. That one is thankfully spawned out of the cover this time. Boom, 56. Oh, there, Ricochet. Welcome in again. Next was 3, 2, 1. All that former? Yeah. I have some very generous viewers who helped me out on that. Three, 2, 1. Oh, no, I was too fast on that one. My bad. Thought I was, but I wasn't certain. Seeing if I could speed it up, but... Yep, nope. Had to shoot a few others to get the stealth bonus most of the way back. 3, 2, 1. There we are, it's full bonus now. Then the Xmas. Rank 26 actual. 3, 2, 1. That should be rank 28. Yep. Is this with booster? I'm fairly certain. Yes. Affinity booster, but not a relay blessing. There we are. Alright. Let's pop us out of here. Does this strat work with ribbon challenges? Depends what ribbon challenge. If your ribbon challenge is to go fishing, then no. Alright, slap another on. There we go. And we continue. Missed the hotkey, it's fine. Kill unalerted enemies from a set distance. I don't see why I wouldn't, yeah. These enemies are unalerted and I am quite a distance away. There you are. Oh, wrong gun. I mean, it still works on getting the stealth bonus building up, but yeah, wrong gun there. And those first levels really do just hand themselves to you, don't they? 3, 2, 1. You're welcome, Ninja. I will say, I give absolutely no guarantee that they are the best settings for you or for anyone. They are just the settings that I have. 3, 2, 1. Do I have some secret tech in mind for the Sagek already? Not in particular, no. It's more a case of I'm aware of enough game mechanics that if there is something to piece together, I can hope to find it. But no guarantees that we will find anything special or noteworthy. It is, at the end of the day, a fake prime. Fake primes tend to be a little underwhelming, if I'm quite honest, but we'll see if that's the case with these two. It is all a process of testing. Oh, there's a couple of alerted things down there. God knows what alerted them. I think it was actually the Dargans themselves were alerted. Go figure. Doesn't look like we've got a Xmas of this one, unfortunately. Just going to kill all of them on general principle. XP farm? Yes, this is a way to quickly get XP onto items. 3, 2, 1. Without feeling like you're leeching off someone else. 3, 2, 1. Shit, I was a little too early on that one. Well, that's unfortunate. I have to go to the next point then. Three, 2, 1. Alright, there we go. We got it. A little bit scuffed, but we got it. Okie dokie. I appear to have gained some inbox messages. Let's have a look at what those are. And we have a gift from a Mirrorlame. It is a 30-day resource drop chance booster. Apparently it's that time of the month. Thank you very much there, Mirrorlame. And then we have a 30-day affinity booster. Thank you very much there, Mirrorlame. Much appreciated on that. We have a 30-day resource booster. Thank you very much, Mirrorlame, for that there. And from Mirrorlame, a 30-day credit booster. Thank you very much for that. Cheers. Why am I waiting before I start to kill each Xmas? As demonstrated on one of those there, their unalerted status for stealth attacks isn't immediately available. It takes them a couple seconds before the AI goes, oh wait, there isn't a player near to me, I need to turn off. And then they're truly on alert. If you shoot them too soon, they haven't spawned fully, and so it doesn't count as a stealth kill. Wonder what proportion of my mail is from Mirrorlame? It's a bit. It's a bit, you know? You see that logo popping up a few times. it happens a few times, so yeah. Probably have more mail from Mirrorlame than Stalker. It's possible. It is possible. Anyway. 80%? Not that much, no. Alright, let's slap another one of these into here. I can go over this slot here. I'm going to intentionally leave that one blank so that I've got a little bit more wiggle room for moving elements around without having to take up polarized slots. That was a Sagek. We're still working on it. Still working on it. Right, now with 3 formers in here, we should be able to fit a fair amount of pretty much anything already, but let's have a look then. Critical damage. We just slap a prime target cracker into there. And then we've already got the heat to go into just donkey heat statuses being the focus. Don't know if heat is really necessarily the way to go, but it is a primed heater charge. That is a generally good starting point. Magnetic Might. Let's see. Magnetic Might. Right, myself. So yeah, it gives us crit damage, but it also gives us magnetic, which will wash out the heat a bit. Or maybe wear glasses. The need to be able to see things clearly. Yeah, what did you think my answer was going to be? Nah, babe, it's a fashion statement. Like, oh my god, it's all the style. Oh dear. I mean, I do look better with glasses, to be honest, but still. Okay, so from here, I was saying the unique trait of sight account for every status on your weapon, even if it's from mod, so it's not only from base status. I believe so. We're gonna have to verify that, but I believe so. Brother only say if we're going heat, would Cascadian Flare work better than Deadhead? Maybe. It was just put in there earlier. This isn't a finished build. I'm still thinking things through and replying to why do I wear glasses? Give me a moment. Oh boy. Right, so, this currently has a net positive fire rate because Lethal Torrent is more than offsetting Creeping Bullseye. Plus, I always get fire from my companion because I like to use a reinforced bond companion. The fire rate bonus is honestly just so nice. When it comes to the rest of the setup, we're going for the crits because we're just building into crits. It's a weapon that, if we're not going for full crits, then what are we going for? Crits are just good. With a 5.9 times basic multiplier, that could go to 7.1 with an appropriate companion. We'll have over 100% critical chance. That's going to be a lot of bonus going on there. We've already got a 165% element. Putting a 60 or even 90 onto that isn't going to be that much more damage. So, what direction do we have left to us? I've already got the hollow point on here for crit damage at the expense of normal damage, but I do have to wonder if actually I want to be going for Merciless Gunfight. It's ever so slightly less critical damage, 0.3x less, but it gives us an actual punch through stat. Honestly, I think that is the correct play. And even the slight loss of critical damage is a slight gain in pure damage, although slight is even still overselling it. We'll see how that all comes together in a moment. It's gonna need another former on it if I'm gonna go that direction, so let's do one more former, and then let's do our first entry draw, shall we? Need to level it, then I can form it. Yeah. I knew that. I was thinking if you have viral heat on the weapon, could be unlucky and only proc viral. Yeah, it comes down to the status weighting, but yeah. Alright then. Up we go again. Now, my understanding is it should be status weighted, but I haven't actually objectively tested that so far either. So it could be that it takes any of the available statuses rather than a status chance basis. I'd be very, very surprised if that's the case, but if it is the case, it does change build decisions quite a bit. But first, let's level this thing, shall we? There we go. Right, target 3, 2, 1. Good. Let's see. Yep, that's next miss. 3, 2, 1. Over to here. 3, 2, 1. Offers over this side. There's Xmas. There they are. 3, 2, 1. Good. Go this way. Oh, have I taken a slightly odd angle? I feel like I should have seen them by now. There they are. 3, 2, 1. I'm certain we were good on the time on that. And structure over here. We're on location. Xmas does not appear to have spawned. 3. It's time. But yeah, no Xmas. I'll just shoot a few things because I can out of frustration. Hop over this way. The spawn of this camp. Ooh, don't go down. Don't go down. Okay, they're not moving. I'm good. I didn't screw that up. Queen, are you asking or memeing? Because I feel like I've explained this one whilst you've been around, but I can explain again if you're actually asking. Oh yeah, actually having enemy highlights on really makes a difference here. Really, really does. There we go. I think I might have overcooked that. It's all good. And we're out. And yes, King Among Thieves, as someone else mentioned, the 6% trigger chance and what appears to be a functional 500% effective status output means you can just multiply the two together for an average output of equivalent to 30% status. Because 6% trigger is about 1 in 16 shots. Gives you 5 status. If you had a 30% status chance and you fired 16 shots with that, that gives you about 5 statuses. Emphasis on the about. Actual asking, okay, Queen. So with the leveling strat here, we're utilizing the fact that the AI is disabled if no players are within some large distance of the enemies, but the AI needs to become disabled first. If I shoot them the moment I get there, within those first couple of seconds, they've spawned, but they haven't yet realized no one's nearby. Excuse me. They haven't yet realized no one's nearby, and so they are still not unalerted, and it would ruin the self bonus. We get basically no affinity for it. Too little. So that's why we're waiting there. Also, Robo Stealth, thank you very much for raiding on into the channel here. Hope you've had yourself a wonderful stream, and thank you very much for bringing along your community to this one. If you do need to raid and run, I absolutely understand. All the same, welcome on in. Oh. We got a mod to do a shout out there for us to Robo Stealth. We have indeed. Thank you very much there, Mythic, for handling that one. Alright, so with that there, that's going to have level this one more time. Can slap another format right onto it and being very ludicrously expensive with this, but who actually cares when they're handed out for free? There we go. Okay. That's why you self-bonus this bit. Yeah, you do need to wait. The waiting I'm doing isn't just to do it performatively or steadying my aim. It is waiting for that stealth to kick in. Think of it like the enemies aren't being unalerted when they spawn in. Instead, they spawn in and then decide, am I unalerted? It's a weird one. But you need to wait for that flag to kick in, as opposed to assuming they are actually unalerted. We need the game to realize what's going on. Okay, before I put another mod onto that, I do want to test the status distribution we get, and in fact I can help the test on that by putting, not you on there. It's not going to be a very big increase. Actually, it'll be even better if I went Toxin or Cold or something like that. Let's go for Cold, because it'll vanish quickest. As more of them. Sorry, yeah, that's too big of a drain. We'll go for you. So blast procs should vanish very, very quickly. What I want to see then is on the next test, do I get a lot of blast procs and very few physicals? Or do I get a relatively even spread of physicals? To see if this unique trait is giving us 5 random status effects or 5 from the potential types. Evenly selected. Just another one of those tests we need to do. Can I say more power to y'all? Personally, never like power leveling. Just run whatever needs to level what I want to do. I mean, that's fair enough, except, you know, I want to put in 4 former before I die of old age. And on the internet, old age happens apparently when you're like 23. So, I'm already ancient! But that aside, we are going to take a quick break from that to do our first of the entry draws. I mean, just why do I have a ping on? Okay, good. Bods have already got to it. Thank you, Bods. Much appreciated. Alsu, you are a Necros Shadow. Yeah. Which would explain all the Cloaky play. Well, thank you, Queen. At least if I'm going to be a relic, I'm an Axie relic, you know. Shiny and gold. We do like that. Right. Let's shuffle some things around on the screen here. Let's open that up. Let's make sure this is going to work correctly. Yes, it is. Okay, so the way this is going to work is this is not the main giveaway. This is entry into it. So to give everyone a fairer chance throughout the stream, we're going to do 3 such of these. 1 now, 1 in an hour, and 1 in another hour from that. If you are one of the 5 names chosen in each of these draws, you go into the final draw for the actual chance at the Vauban Heirloom Collection. So you want to be entering as many as you can. If you are picked for one of them, you don't need to enter the others. You're already in it for a chance to win it. So, enough dilly-dallying from me. Let's switch up the command. There's no longer to tell people to sod off at the moment. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Open the door. Right then. Move my camera out of the way for this. Exclamation mark enter in the chat for entry into the Warframe Heirloom Collection giveaway. Like I say, this is not the main draw. This is to give you a chance at it. There are going to be 3 of these, so you get 3 chances to enter into the full and final draw. It means then, if you can only stick around for the first hour of stream, which could be some of you here, I know time zones are a bitch like that, if you can only stick around for the first hour of stream, you still get a chance to win. But those of you who do stick around all 3 hours, you get more chances. And people who turn up just at the end, they themselves also will only get the 1 chance. So those of you who are here loyally throughout the whole stream, well, of course you just get more for it, don't you? It seems to be about the fairest setup I can come up with. As fair as it gets. Whilst also keeping it a little bit interesting, but we're not going to keep this open forever. So you've only got a few seconds more to get in. Exclamation mark enter into the chat here for a chance at the Warframe Heirloom Collection. We're doing that draw in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw. Right then, so let's see. Who are the 5 we'll be moving on to, Vani? Who's the first 5 finalists? Let's find out what's going on with that there. We've got quite a few people slamming in up against the boss. Of course, the boss has got plenty of shots to go, but here is our 5 who are going through to the finale. The shots in unison,
Excellent
of course.
Work, Tenno.
There we go.
The extraction point is up ahead.
Oh, looks like when I have this many names together, the text overlays. I might need to fix that bug. Alright then, Scravy Gravy, Kurtos, Plasma Storm 811, Elastisquirrel, and Miracle Raven. You are passing through to the next round. Absolutely. Everyone whose names are not up there, you'll still have more chances. 1 in an hour from now, 1 another hour from that. That's simply how it works. But you 5, you don't need to enter in anymore. You are part of it. However, Elastisquirrel, before anything were to happen, please do make sure you use the IGN command to give us your Warframe username and platform so that if you are our final winner at the end of the stream, we actually can send you your prize. So yes, indeed. Elastisquirrel, make sure you do use the exclamation mark IGN command. Looks like the other 4 of you have already done so. So that's all good. Alright then, we will come back to the rest of that later on. Let's get back now to the primes. Let's get back to those. Lester Squirrel, we need the platform as well. Could you resend the command, please? Okay, so, test on this. We want to test out, is it mostly blast, or do we get a spread? Let's find out. Will winners of this round be deleted from next round, even before the draw begins? So next round, I ask that those 5 just don't enter. If I see one of those 5 pop up, I will have to berate them for choosing to enter into a giveaway that they're already through to next round on. I could have gone into the program and made changes and adjusted it to try and account for people trying to double enter and whatnot. But the thing is that already, when someone sends the enter command multiple times, it only gives you 1 entry anyway. It detects when someone's already in a draw and just goes, okay, we're not going to take you again then. So it's the best I can do on that. The giveaway wasn't designed to do a... sorry, the arena wasn't designed to do a multi-stage giveaway like that.
You are a true hunter.
But yeah, so it mostly comes down to just telling people to not be arsewipes. We'll see how that pans out, won't we? If DE can trust y'all with the ability to paint your own ability icons, I can trust you to enter a giveaway once. Best I could do on that. Okay. Let's just switch this around. I need to switch the command back. There we are. Right then. Wonder if they'll ever make a reference to a base Sagek or Galariak. There's a few orphaned primes out there, so not necessarily. Not necessarily. Who do you need to bribe to swing those odds a little? DE themselves. You see, what you can do is you can go to DE, and they actually openly take bribes for this, Dragon. It's crazy. If you open up Warframe.com and you go to their shop, it's wild. You can just buy it outright. It's not even a chance. They just give it to you. Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, it's so blatant. What's the point of even running a giveaway at that point? It's like you're buying it. Might be the word even. Anyway, let's test this some more, shall we? Straight up pay to win. Ain't that the truth? Ugh. I should stick to more sensible games. Games which are all about fairness and collaboration. Y'all don't need me to name which ones you're now thinking of. Alright, so. Let's just fire a bit. I mean, I'm already seeing my answer here. We are getting a lot of blast out of this. Like, sure, other procs are happening, but I've seen a lot of blasts. Let's let those clean out for a moment. Come on, Lavos duration. Stop being near. Yeah. We are getting plentiful blast out of that. But we're going to take that further. We are indeed going to take that further. Hello there, Wardock. I am doing well today. Hope you're doing well yourself as well. Absolutely. It was fleeting expertise I was using for this. Yep, there we go. Just to kill my status duration. Oh wow, I think I actually hit the blast explosion there despite the short duration on it. Yeah, this seems pretty conclusive to me. We are getting the status spread based on the weighting of the elements. It's not pure random selection. So indeed, if you want to have a status on there that doesn't trigger much, it's just like any other status-based weapon. So from all that I can see, that as soon as you hit that 100% crit chance or more, the unique trait maxes out and it functions just like a very finicky 30% status chance. Sometimes you get 5 status procs, sometimes you get none, which is very much just like status chance on a high fire rate weapon in the first place. Honestly, it would be more interesting almost if this was on a low fire rate weapon, because then most of the time it just would be a critical gun with no status, and occasionally you just get Omega status, which would be brilliant for things like gas procs, because you can set up a really high damaging gas field, rather than with this, intermittent middling gas fields. Because the fire rate is so high by default, it kind of undoes all of the interest of it, to be quite frank about it. We get a max multi-shot here of 3.9 with Galvanized Diffusion at full stack, because that's 2.3, this is 0.6, base is 1. So yeah, 3.9 multiplied by the fire rate I've currently got here of 17.27. That is 67.353 hits per second. If we then take into account multi-shot, say we're hitting 2 targets, double that, that's 134.7. It doesn't really matter if this is 6% at that point, 6% for 5, or if it was a 30% status chance, you'd be getting about the same result. Because there's just so many shots per second being launched in the first place. Yeah. Take 134.7, multiply it by 0.06. In 1 second of firing, punching through to 2 targets, I'd be expecting 8 triggers of this. Which is a hell of a lot of triggers. That is a hell of a lot. So my next question then is, if we've just got this kind of weird 30% base status chance that's just built in and nothing you can do about it, I guess our next question is that, how much does this really deal? With 3.9 total multi-shot. Actually, let's figure out base damage again, subtracting what we've got going on here. So 228.2 is with the multi-shot of 2.7 currently. Let's take that out and then multiply in final multi-shot. Multiply it by the fire rate. And multiply it by 1 plus. So I'm going to assume this is with the Tenacious Bond Companion. So this will be a 6.8 multiplier. And for the crit chance, we've got 90% modded, but this gives us another 320% on the base. So that is another 96%. So this would be 186. So 1 plus 1.86 multiplied by 5.8. So taking into account, oh dear, taking into account fire rate, multi-shot, and base damage and crits, body shots come out to 67,000 DPS. Oh wait, no, I didn't take into account secondary deadhead. My bad! Let me fix that. Times 4.6. Okay, 308,000 DPS. That's better. 308,000. Because there's no other pure damage in here that it's additive to, is there? Nope. Okay, that's good. Yeah. So 308,000. Now, if we're on a headshot, this can potentially be higher. Let me just backtrack through the math on my calculator. So it's this. The headshot. First of all, the critical bonus goes up from 5.8 to 12.6. His headshots are just that damn good. And we triple the damage because headshot. So on headshots continuously per target, we're looking at about 1.9 million DPS, which is actually pretty good. The precision on this could be a problem. We can certainly mess around with that further. And indeed, to help with precision, there are excellent mods for recoil reduction. I don't know if there's anything for spread reduction. I don't think we'd have anything there, no. That is on-hit accuracy. Yeah, so there is a teeny tiny bit, but... I say teeny tiny. Fully upgraded, 30%. Given how accuracy math works in Warframe, I have no certainty on that. That reduces accuracy. That is not for us. That's only while sliding, so we don't care for that. That's only on equip. Don't like that. So yeah, that's about the best we got. Okay. So how is the spread on this? Ooh. That's going well outside the reticle. Personal bugbear of mine is when the reticle of a weapon looks like it has a bounding box. The bounding box does absolutely nothing to show you the actual bounding of the gun. I've never liked that. What is the point of the circular reticle around the point if I'm now shooting well outside of it? But hey. You don't think you've ever thought about accuracy too much? Well, it does matter to your actual applied damage output, because this kind of range here, you see at this range, this is a pretty close range, and if I zoom in on this guy now, we can see that that circle surrounds his head perfectly. But we've just seen that my shots go massively around that circle. So if I aim for the head here, about half of them are going to hit the head. And then another, what? About 40% of what's left is going to miss entirely, and leaving 60% on body shots. So we're looking at about a 50, 30, 20 split there. And that's significant. So let's have a look if we can get an idea as to how well that would work with the accuracy mod. Just take out the card for a moment, doesn't really matter. Let's first of all just repaint the picture, so let's get that size of head, there we go. So, it's an oblique angle to be firing at, but you can see the idea is to spread there. Let's trigger the effect. I mean, it's better, but not by a lot. So yeah, that is that, it's 30%. And it is actually quite a bit better, yeah. Because we wait for that to fully time out, and then refire. Yeah, no, it's quite a bit better. %30 is 30%. Copy say makes me wonder if it'd be worth aiming below the head to avoid misses. You'd still be landing headshots, but as the shots are still grouped in the center, by aiming low, yeah, if I move my shot upwards to show a head shape above the center there, you see how you'd be missing a lot more of the headshot instead. Maybe a prime steady hands, so there's not that much shake on it with deadhead going on. Granted, without deadhead, we're going to have even more shake. But the recoil negative isn't that bad, I'd say. Let's take off the deadhead a moment, see what that turns into here. Oh, gods. Okay, wow, yeah. I think without deadhead, at one point I saw it come like all the way over there. That is... bringing back in deadhead and grabbing a recoil mod. This should give it total recoil removal, so we'd have just the pure innate spread. But you can see that's still going frequently outside of the reticle. But yeah, aiming lower would equivalent do it like that. If that's the fire spread, good lord, look at that. If I aimed lower, putting the head here, sure, we're no longer missing, but we're also barely hitting the head now. So yeah. Zeneric on Lavos, that was just there from whatever was going on previously. Obviously wasn't chosen. Yeah, any which way you shake that one there, it shakes a bunch. Deadhead removing a fair chunk of that, but as for steady hands in here or going for targeting subsystem, that's a tougher call, to be honest. Steady hands will give you complete and total steadiness on handling the weapon, but targeting subsystem does definitely narrow the cone. So, for that extra slot, that is a bit of a fight. Or you could just go for suppress. Does Inner Might have any effect on Lavos? No, it does not. So here's the thing with Lavos, is that Lavos has a very strict and simple rule. If it affects energy, it doesn't affect Lavos. The sole exception to that is that his passive explicitly calls out that energy and universal orbs give him status immunity for 10 seconds. Everything else that relates to energy is not mentioned in that passive, so it just has no effect. Haha, you lose energy. Lavos goes, okay, cool, who cares? I have none. Haha, you gain energy. Lavos goes, who asked? Speaking to the wrong guy. That is Lavos in its entirety. So it applies to auras, it applies to abilities, it applies to death orbs, it applies to literally everything energy. Yeah, that's the trade-off. If you want to run a no energy frame, you get the benefits, you don't get the benefits of energy. Right, I say otherwise Energy Nexus would be insane? Not necessarily. If they built Lavos' setup to work with energy gain modifiers, then sure, why not? Hell, who knows? That could be a future organ for Lavos. When you would gain energy, reduce cooldown of abilities by whatever %. That could be a Orman mod, honestly. I'm not sure that I would need to make much use of it, but a full cast of Lavos in particular, that could go hard as an augment. But yeah, running into Death Orbs as Lavos is just wasteful, unless your allies are there to pick up the energy you just gave them. But otherwise, yes. Otherwise, yes. Okay, right. Let's unlock that slot. Might as well. Slap that over there. Once again, running out of space. God, these mods are expensive to fit. Yeah, fair enough, Centaur. Fair enough. So yeah, now the decision point comes down to the actual output of money on this. I still feel like precision weapons like this one, they want the headshots. By aiming for the headshot, you get 6 times damage. That is, triple damage from the headshot, double damage from literally doubling your critical damage bonus. It actually works out to slightly more than 6 times on anything above a yellow crit, if I recall correctly, because you double the critical damage and then it subtracts 1. As opposed to the critical damage going subtract 1 for the critical bonus and then double. So because the way that equation works, just like with normal modding, going higher takes it much higher. So yeah, I think leaning into headshots is just the way for so much additional damage, and because headshots are the way, it then leans into things like, well, Security Deadhead here, it leans into electric procs being a good choice, although the trade-off with how strong primary charge is, you get into difficult choices. Is this why Innovate setups are so good? Innovate setups are so good because crits go burr, to be honest. Innovate just shits out crit power, yeah. It takes a secondary weapon which doesn't need nor have crits and goes, nah, you can have crits. See the moon? You can go there now. Now, Sagek, because it already has a good base 30% crit chance, and because it has a perk that wants you to crit, you kind of have to lean into normal crit modding, so Innovate is out. In terms of other options, secondaries are great for having a lot of workable options, but the options we want to go for here are a little bit less focused. I don't expect you to be wanting to roll all that much. I've never really liked Cascadier accuracy, especially because plus 300% crit chance in 4 seconds really isn't that much. I don't know what gameplay DEC people doing. Is there just an entire subsect of Dark Souls players flooding the metrics, making DE think that everyone wants to roll like the bloody Sonic the Hedgehog? I don't get it. But almost everything they do with regards to rolling has such short durations. And this is just another one of them, so not a big one for our choice here. On status effect, this is a low status weapon, not going to work for us. On heat status, generally a good pick, 480% damage is strong. Only downside is it doesn't come with other perks like the headshot damage bonus or the recoil reduction bonus. So, workable, plenty, just not my favourite pick for this kind of a weapon. Whilst overshield's active plus crit chance, I mean, it sticks around longer than that if you can keep your overshields up, but we again don't need that crit bonus. On electric status effect, it's going to cost us all of our damage bonus. We need to find it somewhere else. Not a huge fan. And reload speed multi-shot? Yeah. Dexterity is basically Deadhead, but worse. Secondary encumber, not what we're looking to do here. Secondary innovate, as I already described, we want to crit build instead. Fortifier. Fortifier is an option if you really, really hate Overguard, but that is a niche approach rather than a general weapon build. So, not a huge focus. From Clash Point saying, notes off topic, you can been doing the Golden Instinct farm with Lavos, and the wall hit is a lack of Amber Stars. True, you will run into that. That is very true. There is a couple ways around that, or sorry, I should say there are a couple ways around that. Rethought the sentence midway through. So there are some Amber Star farms you can go through, which can help you out on that. But the other one that might be more palatable to you is you could just sell some of the sculptures and buy Amber Stars from other players. A single sculpture could net you 6 to 12 platinum. Depends on the kind of trade you can get. And Amber Stars, you can usually get them down right at 1 platinum. So 1 sculpture for an entire trade of Amber Stars, maybe 2 trades of them, can work out in your favor. It's one way to make it work out. While buffing ally, why does this arcane exist? Never mind. Merciless, worst deadhead. Outburst. Builds a whole bunch of crit chance, crit damage. Bit too niche for the focus, I'd say, here, but it's something you could look at. If you are doing a good melee combo build approach, it's hoops to jump through, but you can do it. Enemies take extra damage per cold status, not good for us because again not a high status output, and if you're going to go status primers, cold wouldn't be my focus. Secondary surge on ability cast, next shot gains damage multiplier. This isn't a next shot weapon, it is a here are all of the shots I have brought with me. I will go find more in a moment, so no bueno. And that's the lot of them. So yeah, there's a bunch of interesting arcanes for secondaries, but for this particular one, honestly, it comes down to headshot or no headshot. If I'm very honest with you, that's what it comes down to. Headshot, no headshot, or sod it, please delete that overguard, I am scared. Those are your options. So I am going to hard focus on... Oops, I took that off. I am going to hard focus on the idea of Deadhead, just because mathematically it is just that much stronger. So before I continue with that, I am going to quickly dip away here. Going to be back in just a moment. Don't y'all go anywhere. And for those wondering, next giveaway draw to get into the finale is in about half an hour. BRB. And we're back. Did ya miss me? Right. Yeah, I don't think there's really much more to do with this other than just shuffling the deck chairs on the Titanic in regards to what statuses you use. It really just comes down to headshot, go burr. It's another precision bullet hose, isn't it? Alright, Mirrorlade, take care. So because it is a precision headshot go burr, let's just level this one more time, and I will go for the full heat approach, but just because full heat approach, that's all really. Simple. So, let's pop out of here, level it up, apply that former, and we're good. You can drag the loadout overlay button around. Oh, on the Twitch overlay, yeah, I believe you can. You could also drag loadouts in-game. Fun fact. You just kind of go, whoop, whoop, and any subsumes follow along with it. Whilst I'm looking at this screen, let's fix that. There we go, thank you very much. Okay, let's see. Unranked, yeah, need to rank it up, then I can go ahead and apply that final former. And then we'll see how it feels fully set up and take it into missions. We'll try it without ability bonuses first, and then with ability bonuses, just to see how high it goes in standard circumstances. Kel's saying, can we go for secret menu 5, and if that's a bad one, go with orange. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is... Hey, that's not too shabby. We can go with 5. Oh yeah. We go. Alright, we're up over the top. These guys are all inactive. 3, 2, 1. And grab our Xmas. Beautiful. Already rank 10. Hop on over here. 3, 2, 1. And there's the punch through coming in nicely, allowing me to shoot through that awning. 3, 2, 1. Oop, missed. There we go. Next location. There you are. 3, 2, 1. Did we already do Vinculus testing? I believe I haven't actually done that on stream yet. No. We did it. No, we did do a little bit of a look at it, but not like heavy testing on it. I think that stream got distracted, if I'm quite honest. Something in the back of my mind says something more interesting came up, and we did that instead. 3, 2, 1. Boop. This Xmas should be the one to finish it. Brilliant. Not bad going. Just over 2 minutes for a full setup.
Despite our best efforts.
Okay. Right, let's slap that last upgrade onto it. Arsenal Sagek. Is going to be one more Omni. We'll set it there. There we go. Grab the Scorch Heat mod. It's only 60%, but it is a buff. I don't know if it's the right buff for us here. I mean, yeah, we get the higher heat priority. Is that the buff that I want? Let's think about this mathematically. Because the status bonus basically doesn't matter, because it's a 0.6 point increase, we've gone from 165 heat to 225 heat. So it is 325 divided by 265, accounted for 100% physical that's there at all times. Our actual damage increase of going with Scorch here is 22.6%. Someone's suggesting Elementalist. They put just one word, but it's there. Pistol Elementalist, status damage reload speed. No. That doesn't scream to me. Just realised Prime Convulsion exists. Why do I not have a ranked up Prime Convulsion then? What? Hold up. I just have a normal one, but not a ranked up one. I've been missing out. Okay. Whoops, my bad. Babbity bip. Thank you very much. Anyway, yeah. So I could just go for electric setup in a moment. I'll reconsider that in just a sec. But now, next question is, what if we do go for that Hornet Strike? Initial punch is a thing, but also just how's it stacked with Deadhead? So Deadhead on its own, we're getting 460 total. This brings it up to 680. So 680 divided by 460. 10.8% increase. That is just better than Scorch. Because we don't need the status. So, why am I saying Scorch? Scorch. I feel like I'm trying to pronounce it with a U in there. Brain's breaking. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to rank this up again. Put another performer here. Hornet Strike instead. And then whether it's Heated Charge or Prime Convulsion honestly doesn't matter. Yeah. 250 plat throwing is something never to be used again? Yeah. When you've got them, use them. Why not? I do it so you guys don't have to unless you really, really want to. You get to see me do it. It's like watching a professional sports match, you know? You may not be the one to spend all the time in training to go and do the stuff you see them do there. You just want to see the cool stuff happen. I am your cool stuff. I hope. Alright, 3, 2, 1, flap. Flap. God, that spread is obnoxious. At least the first shot is precise. Three, two, one. Oh, no Expa spawn? Oh, that's unfortunate, isn't it? Yeah. I can wipe out the camp, but it's not even worth one Xmas. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Get on location next. 3, 2, 1. We're good. I think I took a slightly wrong angle there. There we are. 3, 2, 1. Wonderful. Yo, Captain Sweatpants of the 676 variety. Thank you very much for dropping your prime here. Once again, up onto 17 months. Much appreciated. And I hope you're doing well today. Huh. I've got a really dry nose today, don't know why. Or at the very least, slightly itchy. 3, 2, 1. Sensor asking, would the downside of losing a damaging status be worth running both primed elemental mods? That's a good question. Fitting on that could be a little bit interesting. But yeah, it's a good question. The downside of the status damage honestly wouldn't be that bad on a weapon with like a functional 30% status. Also, I didn't get an Xmas spawn, but I'm already max ranked, so whatever, I'm done anyway. Not the ability I expected to hear there. I cast it just slightly too soon. There we go. Mighty Queen saying irradiate, it would provide damage with rad. Irradiate. Okay. That what I'm just missing? Something else going on. Oh yeah, I haven't ranked that one up. Okay. On hitting enemies afflicted by 10 stacks of radiation, deal 80% of the hit damage to enemies within 4.5 meters. Are we going to get to enough radiation for that to matter? I don't think we are. Because let's think. If we put out 5 status effects, there's a very good chance we're not going to land 5 radiation. So we're going to need 3 triggers before we're even going to start getting this to work. If we've got this to work after those 3 triggers, then we can start spreading that damage out there. 180% of the damage to those within 7 meters. So, at 6% multiplied by the fire rate and multi-shot, 6% multiplied by our fire rate was something like 17, multiplied by multi-shot was something like 3.9. So we're looking to get 4 triggers per second per target. So we should have the radiation in about 3/4 of a second. The problem with 3/4 of a second is within that time, with our expected damage output on headshots being somewhere around 2 million DPS, we're needing a target that is still alive after 1.7 million damage to then continue to spread that damage to a just 7 meter AoE. 7 meters isn't that wide. I believe that is smaller than the AoE of the default Tenet Envoy. Or Envoy, as some people say. Let me see. A rocket explosion. Yeah. Radius 8 meters. Yeah, not a huge fan on that idea, I'll be honest. It's an interesting idea. It's just, it's one of those arcanes that requires you to go out of your way to not do stuff that's good at killing enemies, to then start killing enemies. Blast is 5 meters? Yeah, blast is 5. So you'd need to be spraying out a lot of status or priming with radiation status all the way to 10 stacks on grouped enemies to then start utilizing this. And an AoE weapon would love this far more than the single target we've got. Not a huge fan of that, I'll be quite honest. Yeah, now there was the comment on, rather than Hornet Strike, what if I went for the other primed element mod here, ignoring the damaging status for a moment. So from this baseline we have a 6.8 damage, because we got 3.6, 4, 5, 5.8, and then the base 100%, so 6.8 multiplier on the damage. And elements we got 1 plus 1.65, so that's 2.65. So our modifier, just to bring the math to simple levels, our modifier is 18.02. If I instead go for Prime Convulsion there, we have 4.6 on the pure damage, because it's now just deadhead, multiplied by 1 plus 1.65 plus 1.65, that is 1 plus 3.3? Yep, so that's a 4.3. So 4.6 times 4.3, 19.78. It is slightly higher. It is slightly higher. Not by a lot. The damage output is 9.77% higher. And in the process, we do lose either the heat procs or the electric procs. Take your pick. Yeah. Might be interesting if Radiate scaled off the amount of rad procs. It might be interesting if it just works with rad straight up. I suppose because we have radiation single mod opportunities, that would be overpowered, wouldn't it? It could make it where it has a functional follow-through stat, but I don't know. There are ways and means of balancing it. D have chosen the one where the arcane ends up being a bit, yeah, that would be. Ratio build? Oh yeah, only the cheapest. I'm trying to get full power out of this, because let's face it, when it comes to building these weapons, if you can build it higher, why build it lower? You know? No one wants me to put together a build that is weak source, piddlingly pointless. You want to see what can the weapon do, how strong can we take it without a ribbon. Ribbons are mostly irrelevant to a lot of people on these things, but how far can we take it? And then once you know how far it can go, you know, okay, so if I invest less, I will be less than that power, but somewhere within this ballpark. What is the peak of opportunity? And certainly with these 6 Omniformers, we should be able to see the peak of opportunity in here. Yeah, I am going to go for a electric Hornet Strike. Oh, that was not electric. Electric Hornet Strike approach. Let's see what comes out with that in actual mission circumstances. So with no further ado on that, let's grab us a no shooty worm prime build. So it's just kind of vibing along with us, giving us some passive buffs. Let's switch our focus school back to Madurai, because that's just fun to have there, isn't it? And in the process, Galariak Prime might pick up like half an affinity or something. Who cares? What's my opinion on secondary encumber on this? Encumber. Encumber is the one that gives us extra statuses on applying status. Firstly, Encumber only triggers once per hit. So if we've got a 5 status hit, we get 1 Encumber. I haven't tested if that's exactly how it works on this one. If it works differently, frankly, that's bug spaghetti territory, but that'll be my expectation. Even if it doesn't work that way, and we do get 5 triggers on a single shot, nice. But it's still on a 6% basis. I wouldn't expect the world from it. But I'm fairly certain it is just limited to once per hit, and it's got a low chance. If it were a 30% status weapon with trait cannot modify status chance, it would still be better for Encumber because of that feature. Again, I haven't strictly tested if Encumber is limited that way, but until someone shows me it works differently, I'm going to assume it does on the basis of that's how it works everywhere else. As far as it doesn't balance proc rate, it increases the amount of triggers, yes. It also increases how quickly the enemies should be dead to the same amount of damage. You can try actually, Goose. But the other question is, what are you achieving? If you take your arcane, you replace all of the damage you can get from an arcane to just go elements. What have you achieved? The enemies proc with every disease you can inflict on them, but they're probably also still alive because you've taken away a huge ass chunk of your damage. Doesn't resonate with me. Now, if you go for Galvanized Shot, you're now taking up a mod space to get back the damage that you took away from yourself to get the statuses with a status and damage mod in the form of Galvanized Shot, which doesn't actually work with your lack of status chance. No. The trade-offs start stacking up very quickly. Right, let's go to... It's been a while since I've been up here. Let's go to good old Selkie. We like Selkie. Yeah, I'm not against the idea of Encumber maybe getting somewhere, but by all theory, you'll be applying 3 to 4 status procs per target per second. And you'd need to jump through a lot of hoops to make that worth it.
Each enemy is more powerful than before. Only with true mastery of the Tenno arsenal will you succeed.
Encumber 30% status chance sounds sad. Yeah, now make it 30% status chance, except it's worse than that. Alright, so first I'm going to do this with not using ability buffs as much as possible. I'm just gonna shoot. And I'll be honest, considering actual engagement ranges, that's a lot of non-headshots. The spread is real. Is this with the spread bonus? Did I keep that equipped? Or no, I've got the recoil bonus. Well, spread bonus might be the way on this one. I am burning through ammo. I forget what my ammo maximum is. It looks like my ammo max is 450, so not that bad. Now, because of the sheer fire rate of this weapon, with an otherwise abysmal status chance, Lavos is just itching to activate Venom's Formation. Y'all know it. Y'all know I am just one Valence Formation away from turning on Omega output on this thing, because that's just what Lavos do. But I'm going to hold off for a bit. We're going to get to 5 minutes. Gas? With the sheer fire rate on this, gas would actually be a bad idea, because you'd be replacing a lot of the gas procs without actual effect. I would say blast or electric would be the way. Probably just blast, yeah. In these tight circumstances, blast would be the way. If it was slightly less tight, I would go for probably either viral or corrosive. Let's go grab that. Focus orb, why not? Also, I know that there's punch through on this gun. You'll see how frequently punch through doesn't matter. When people tell me, oh yeah, single targets are fine, just add punch through. Look how little I'm spending time with multiple targets on this same exact line. I have never liked punch through as a particularly good stat. The best thing punch through does, in my opinion, is shoot the enemy behind them if the one in front is dying. So at least you're still hitting something, not just corpse. That is its biggest win to me. At least on normal punch through levels. Obviously when you're playing Sight to 9 and you just shoot through the entire map, it's a little bit. I'll be honest with you, I'm not even going to wait till 5 minutes. This is a depressing output as it is. Like, for all the math I did is to maximum damage potential, the spread on this is painful. So yeah, let's add some blast. But that's doing a little bit more. Yep, that's doing a little bit more. Oh, that's corrosive. My bad. There's blast. Now it's not going to be the highest damage output, but it'll be an improvement. Certainly when we've got groups of enemies, for there to be a combined blast wave, it does do better. Oh, somebody's holding on though. Let's switch to corrosive. What about if I just hard wipe their armor? Oh, hi, Violence. Do you like my abilities? Yeah, I don't really need them to kill you. Goodbye. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. Switching to corrosive. Corrosive has a damage bonus against a Grineer. And it also just absolutely dunks on armor. So those higher value targets, you know, those Xmas I've been spending a long time shooting, maybe I could just carve through them a little quicker. But ultimately, this is a bullet hose weapon, and not a very interesting one. That is my actual total conclusion on this. It is an uninteresting bullet hose. The quirk on it is just too intangible. The fact that it exists doesn't mean I can see it. Quirks which are just numbers might as well just be the numbers. I forget which game it was where a game designer made pretty much that same sentiment of, if the buff you're going to give someone is just a number, don't even give them the buff. For all the value that numbers bring, they don't make gameplay. If you want someone to enjoy something, make it fun, not a number. And this weapon honestly feels like that. This quirk feels like that. It's not really done anything for me, it's just buried a status chance that I can't even mod for. Bearing in mind that the effective 30% status that we get from the so-called quirk, Lavos is giving it 100% from Transformation. They are. Let's go back to the blast a moment. Yep. Explosion's good, but... Guess there is a difficulty of live switching for Xmas takedowns. Into then blast for group takedowns again. Oh hi, you're very excited to be here. Yeah. Alright. I'm not even going to do a run with my weapon maxing setups. I think I've seen enough on this. The spread is painful for precision, but it is a single target precision weapon. It's kind of functioning like a short range shotgun sidearm, except rather than firing all the pellets at once, it fires them with obscene fire rate. It is very shotgun level spread.
It is done, Tenno.
So yeah, how to get the most out of the Sagek Prime? Rank it up and put it down. I'm going to be quite honest on that. That is a rank up and put it down item. And yes, I've just dropped, what was it, 5 Omniformer into that to come to that conclusion. And I thought I was always going to come to that conclusion, but don't say I didn't try it. Don't say I didn't try it. Oh well. I don't know why that's taking a moment to load, but oh well. If I were DE with this unique trait here, let me just quickly check the wiki page for the Sagek Prime. Is there any unique lore to it that is known? Trivia: the Sagek Prime's passive ability is essentially opposite of Godfur's. Despite having Prime name Barracuda and interact there. No? Description give any hint? The sidearm of choice for Prime Grenadier Warrior. Sagek Prime blends Grenadier Brutality with Orokin Aesthetics. That doesn't really give me anything. So yeah. If I want to go for a unique trait on it, I would go a little bit weird. The kills with this gun have a chance of dropping Perita resources. Just that simple bit. Memories of Devastation. Kills with this gun give Perita, have a chance of Perita resource drops instead of normal resource drops. So yeah. Then it actually has a function that you can't get on just everyday modding. It does something completely different. Because this is just a inaccurate bullet hose. I mean, I can fix the accuracy a bit, but not enough to matter. Alright, before we continue on to the Galariak Prime, we have hit the next hour, so let's pause the out-of-game music. Let's reload the giveaway arena. Okay. It is loaded up. Now, for the 5 of you who've already got yourselves into the Warframe Heirloom finale, don't enter. For everyone else who is not A-Gear, A-Gear, look what you've just done. Guys, stop. What does it say up there? What does it say up there? Come on. There's not exactly much to see on the screen right now. You could at least read the little bit of it I'm giving you. Or respond to the bot. Monkey see, monkey do. Monkey can fall off the side of deck into the cold ocean waters at this rate. Y'all are jumping off a bridge just because the first lemming did. Should be in the center? No. It's so important it goes at the top. Alright then. Now that we're over the lemmings, I will re-explain. This is the second of the entry giveaways into the Vauban Heirloom collection giveaway. So there'll be 5 people selected here. 5 people go into the finale for a simple draw at the end of stream. So popping up here doesn't mean it's yours just yet. It means you're basically in the final runnings for it. And so with that all in mind, as I just update the command on this side, let's open it. Now you can ! Enter. And here's the Hydrate Siege gear. A reminder that it's 5 of you already in it to win it. You already have your entries. No point entering again. You don't get duplicates. It doesn't work that way. Give everyone else a chance. Night today? Absolutely. Yep. All loading up into Teshin's Cave to fight the Fragmented One. And it's super duper buffed, and all of y'all have 1 hit point and no shield gating. Because I mean like that. We'll just give you all a very quick entry on this. Let's face it, you've had plenty of time to be aware as there's a giveaway happening, so 20 seconds left to ! Enter. Say it now or forever hold your chances. You did ! Enter, but you don't see your name on screen. The real oven cake. Queen. Yep, I see you. You are hidden behind Lagless Ace at the top left there. The pities of someone has to be in front of someone. Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's draw. This is round 2 of our finalists for entering into the end stage. Let's have a look. Out of all of you who have entered, quite a few who have entered, 5 of you will be passing through. Those are good odds. Those are very good odds, but it does mean Alsu has fallen. It does mean Siege Gear has fallen there as well. Squirbo and A-Gear out of the running. Our 5 going into the finale are...
Excellent work, Tenno. The extraction
quite a few missing names. I definitely need to adjust the layout of the red text there. We have Adversary S13, Sisyphus 5555, Missileman 07, CS Anderson 142, and the Almighty Queen River. Wonderful. Now with that, Sisyphus, Missileman, and CS Anderson, we do need to have your IGNs if there's going to be any chance of you winning at the very end of it. So please do make sure you've used the IGN command with your Warframe username and platform. We need those 3 words in the same message, IGN, name, platform, for it to actually save. But yes, you 5 are also in the final runnings, so long as we have those IGN details. And I'm back. Hello. Reminder again, this isn't the final winner. This is just entering in for the chance at the end of stream. We'll be doing 1 more of these before the very end of the stream. So that's in about an hour's time. And I'll see out of those 15 who is the final and absolute win. From Funky saying, funny how you just made a video on Warframe grind times and they're reducing many of them in Shadowgrapher. Yeah. It be what it be. Queen saying, does this mean I do not enter the true giveaway for Vom because you're already in it? Yes, because there'll be 1 more of these towards the end. And then I take those 15 names and the winner is chosen out of those 15. That's how it works. It just puts you into the final 15. Alright, let's exit out of that one. We're back onto Warframe proper. Now, it's my way of spreading out the opportunities throughout the stream so that even if someone can only stick around for the first half of stream or whatever, they'll still get a chance. Just as much a chance as someone who joined in towards the latter half of stream. To that effect, to try and make it fairer, while still being interesting to look at. I did consider just allowing for duplicate entries over the course of the stream, but that doesn't really get people's attention the same way, and it ends up just going to a few people who paid attention to an exclamation mark command in the title. That doesn't have the same fun aspect to it. We want the fun aspect. Okay. Ooh. Are you in the heirloom giveaway now? I don't know, Moon. Did you see your name in the 5 winners, the first round or second round? Were you in either of those, Moon? So if I'm saying first time logging into Warframe in a month, can confirm got the plat from the giveaway one back then. Hey, nice. Nice. You thought it was an end of stream thing? Oh, I see, Moon. I see. So... Okay. Moon, walk me through this. You say you thought it was an end of stream thingy. On what basis? You think you just got how this works? Okay. For the avoidance of doubt, if anyone was still in Moon of 5 seconds ago position, instead of 1 draw end of stream, so that only people there at the end of stream get a chance, it is 3 draws after 1, 2, and 3 hours of the stream, picking 5 names at each stage. Those 15 people make the finalists for a single draw at the end. Spreads it out. Respects time zones, which is a big deal. Ah, yes, and that's that wonderful little clip there. Thank you, Ellie. Yeah, I know this is an unusual and different way of handling giveaways, but let's face it, there's still only the 1 heirloom collection to give away, so I have to find some way to choose who in the end, and I'm trying to make it fair and interesting at the same time, which is a whole process. And yeah, as for the whole, I'm sorry, I have to have a look. How many... Missile Man. Did you just copy and paste from Ellie, including the quotes, and somehow still autocorrect it to ING? Well, welcome to Twitch chat commands. This might be the first channel you've interacted with it on, in which case, fair enough. But yes, it's exclamation mark, not a quote at the start, exclamation mark, IGN, in-game name. Then the follow-up details. I would type it out for you, but the bot won't respond to me for you. It needs to be yourself to do this, sorry. So, none of the quotes, exclamation mark IGN, then your name, then the platform. You're almost there. From Diz, can you give a TLDR about the Arcane Encumbered build after I just joined stream? Okay. Arcane Encumbered. You mean Secondary Encumber. On status effect, 24% chance to trigger, second random status effect. Haven't tested it with the Sagek, not going to. On every other weapon where it operates as expected, even if you land multiple statuses in a single shot, you only get 1 trigger. So getting 5 status in 1 shot, 1 trigger, that's not a good ratio of triggers. So they are that. Hey! Missile Man's figured it out! Now, so long as you've spelled your name correctly, we're good. That's up to you to know. Oh, that reminds me. There we are. Cool. Right then, Galariak Prime. Unique trait. Excuse me. Gain 10% final critical chance for each unique status effect on the target. Testing this is going to be difficult. Because the game doesn't show you your critical chance in the moment of a swing. It just shows you no crit, yellow, orange, red, extra red, things like that. And getting a lot of status effects on a target to then hit them, test them without killing them is also funky. 9-10% is not that much, to be honest. When it's final critical chance, it's more than it might seem. Because, like, if I put Blood Rush onto this weapon, take it from 19% to a little over 100%. Having 4 status effects on target is effectively another 200% crit chance bonus. So it can add up. But the question is less so can it add up, but does it get there usefully? Now, that 3.7 isn't real, that is Worm buffing it, but that's still a base 2.5 times, which is not a small critical damage to be modding into on melees. So we can get some good value out of that as well. Let's see, attack range of 2.8 is pretty decent. Follow through of 60% is unfortunately rather low. Not the end of the world, but it is low. And then stat distribution, primarily puncture, kind of a waste. Status chance at 32% though, that is also nice. Ellie, be a little less facetious with the newbies, please. They may not quite get the British sarcasm. Cheers. Okay, cookie. So, Magnificent, if you just put PS5 rather than PlayStation Space 5, the bot thinks PlayStation and 5 are two separate words and gets confused. Yeah, just PS5 and that'll work if you try that again. Okay, so status chance as it is, I'm thinking, honestly, just a straight up simple hybrid approach is the way here. So, let's install a melee arcane adapter. Let's go for a melee exposure. I'm going to try and not do melee influence. Obviously, that's not going to work. Melee influence is just going to be better. But we're going to try melee exposure, and then let's grab the radiation mod. Let's grab the magnetic mod. I still find it funny that searching radiation brings up magnetic. I still don't know why. It's just there. Yeah, PS5 works so long as the person's platform is just PlayStation. If you put PlayStation and you're actually on PC, or PlayStation you've got a cross-save account, that's why the bot has its response of, oh, you've set this, but... Yeah. Always read what bots say when they reply to you. There's a reason they say it. Rogue says I need a new keyboard because this old one doesn't seem to work well anymore. Hey, it could be worse. You could be Zomtronic, one of our mods here. I think Zom's record was 70% misspelled words in a single sentence. It could always be worse. Alright, we'll pop that on because it matches the polarity. Can't remember if that's the good one or not. I could check my spreadsheet, but I don't care. Now, this gives us radiation, magnetic, corrosive. So let's also add in some viral onto here. With that and that. And... can I... To be honest, I want to go viral heat, but I don't think I can actually get away with that many elemental mods before I'm causing other problems. So let's not do that. Let's instead go, we've got radiation, magnetic, corrosive. Let's go into heat as well. No point going for the 60 mod because we'll be using Weeping Wounds. Combo that with Blood Rush. Still going to need to have on a pure damage. As we're going for Status Overload, Condition Overload is the correct way to do it. And then we need to have critical damage. For which Galvanized Steel gives us crit chance and crit damage. Those two can work together. The crit chance is a little wasteful, but 120% crit damage I think is the best we can get, so it's just the pick to go with. Bear in mind, this is a zero former setup and we've nearly filled out the slots already. Actually, I could swap that around, and now I can also fit in either Organ Shatter or Gladiator Might. Organ Shatter is... not sure if it's the better one or not here. I'll be quite honest, I don't actually know. But I'm going to go with Gladiator Might because more crits! Why not? So this should give us quite a chunky amount of crits in general going on. And then any formering would be just to open up this in order for us to add on a Tennokai, because Tennokai would be nice. Heat by the side of corrosive won't do much, says Alex. I mean, sure, but it can still do something with fewer procs needed. We don't have to be at full corrosive at all times. Also, a magnificent thank you very much for subscribing with your Prime there. Much appreciated. Enjoy a lovely blue sub badge and all the other bits and pieces to go along with that. Zom saying, I once misspelt theoretically so bad it sounded like an Eldritch Horror. I'm sorry, Zom. Did you do that on purpose? did you misspelt on purpose? Misspelt it. We love having you here, Zom. We really do. Oh, yeah. I'd say never change, but sometimes I genuinely can't decipher it all. Alright. Yeah. Critical dyslexia moment. I don't know if we've ever actually had that conversation. Zom, are you dyslexic? Or is it just typing is difficult? I genuinely am not sure at this point. No fuss either way, really. It's just a case of, yeah. it's funny, it keeps happening. Zom is, in fact, not dyslexic, they say. Fair enough, then. Zom also has given permission for everyone to make fun of Zom. So, okay. Because we can't tell if that's a singular or plural you, so... Chat, moderator has given you permission to bully them for their misspellings. Specifically Zom. If you bully any other moderator, they have permission to time you out. Right, now that I have unleashed anarchy, let's go ahead and switch focus call. By clicking the wrong button. There we go. Maybe you could try a unique trait with Varuna. Yeah, it could work with Varuna. I'm focusing on just the weapon itself at first, just kind of self-priming hybrid approach, because that status chance at base 32% is kind of bonkers. If we stacked it up with Weeping Wounds, so it's 32 times 5.4, we get 172.8% status chance. That is not a small status chance. I have no attack speed bonuses on here at the moment. So maybe I want to switch Warframe with those. Maybe we could do a little bit of wispy silliness, why not? Let's see. Main build, blah 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 blah. Good old strength. Adaptation. Yeah, all that fun good stuff. Let's do you. Why not? Why not indeed? And I'm going to take off that for Arcane Strike, 60%. Can we get better than that? No, I think that is the one we got. That is the one we got. Ellie. Nope, fair enough. Yep, that's justified. That's completely justified. Yeah. I just saw a timeout applied and immediately unapplied on Ellie. That's all good. Ah. Hello, Draco. Welcome on it. Range on Wisp. Did I have range on Wisp? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. I basically want the strength and tank. That's it.
Accept your death, and you may
Beep,
yet
boop.
avoid
I'm
it.
hacking.
Trust in your training.
Hey then. Skidoosh. Skidoosh. Let's swing. I mean, it doesn't help if they die in a couple hits. Come on. We want the stuff that's a little tankier as we get building up. 3 times, sorry, 5 times, 6 times combo, 7, 12. Sorry, did I blink or something? I said 7, it flicked over and it was on 12. And we start jump tanking as well because it's apparently the thing to do with Wisp. I've never been a huge fan of it. Now, I need to remember to use abilities to keep up my exposure. Of course, it's going to be Breach Surge because Breach Surge go burr. I suppose I could just use my 2 instead. That wouldn't be as destructive to the mission. As we're seeing, I mean, it's a melee weapon, it cuts through enemies. Mm-hmm. Nope. I do not have enough energy to keep on casting my 2. Energy, please. Thank you. That is a chunk of damage. So, does this feel any different from any other melee weapon? Welcome to my fundamental issue with melee in this game. I'm holding down forwards and E after having cast my buffs. Oopsies. Did my health buff run out? Uh-oh. Well. Dead it is. My bad.
Well, I was on my usual patrol, and here you were.
Oh hey. This is how rarely I die in missions. She spawned.
And here I am.
Honestly, completely forgot that I had any adversary left as a supporter. Why did I convert this one? But yeah, what is this melee doing that I should be interested in is the honest question I have right now. Yeah, I've got it buffed with high attack speed. I've given it a bunch of elements, a bunch of crits, a bunch of crit damage, a bunch of status. I'm trying to lean into its passive in a way that should matter. And yeah, I had got rid of all my adversaries. So I don't remember when I got this one back, but I don't know. I suppose you could try using this as a heavy attack weapon instead, like status prime the hell out of them and then heavy. But again, it's just going to feel the same. I really do struggle to find identity in melees most of the time. Not for lack of trying, just don't find it. Oh my god, my guy. I can't cast, so I just have to bounce around you, please. There we are. Oh, melee exposures ran out, my bad. No, its violence is bad, let's be real on that one. Yep.
Oh, we did it. And you're alive. And it was all because I came along at just the right time.
Why did you say we did it? We haven't even finished the mission. Don't be like that. But yeah, this melee is killing a few things. It's not? Okay, actually, I'm on a very low kill rate with this current setup. This is not good. Yeah. I got knocked down, but I get up again. Yeah, I'm not vibing with this. Ellie, what does that even mean? Oh, sorry, Dom. I get a song stuck in your head. It's fine. It could be worse. The band that released a song? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know band names. I just know that I can curse a lot of people for going, Baby Shark do 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 do. And now my viewership drops to 10. And my desire to keep using this weapon drops to 0. I didn't play that. Just want to be clear. If anything, viewership went up. If viewership goes up when I reference Baby Shark, I'm in the wrong place. And there we go. Right then.
And so we learn the importance of clarity and purpose.
That felt like an absolute ball of nothing. I think someone had a comment earlier on the whole numbers referencing earlier, but God knows what else. God, there's a lot of messages, unfortunately. Right, yeah. Baby Shark is the one thing you're so glad your daughter hasn't got into. Lucky you, yeah. There should be a redeem for an Octavia Rickroll. I mean, the Baby Shark is basically that. Because it is a genuine Baby Shark Octavia Mandicord I put together. Just to mess with people. Okay, so... This is in which category again? Was it scythes? Heavy scythes? It's in just scythes, not heavy, just scythes. And yeah, scythe. So like, scythes are already got quite a few options in there. But let's compare this to another orphaned prime. A Reaper Prime comes with a lower status chance, but a vastly higher crit chance. Same crit damage, 2.5, not 3.7. Slightly lower base damage. Excuse me. All of it in slash. Because there's very little in the puncture, whereas Galariak is all in the puncture. So, in comparison there, it feels like at base the Galariak should start pulling ahead, just because that status chance being slightly higher, you can kind of lean into it. That crit chance difference, if we're at full tilt on, say, Blood Rush and Galvanized, was it Galvanized Steel? Yeah, which in combination I think that's total 550% crit chance bonus. 35% multiplied by 6.5. So the Reaper Prime with those two mods would be 227.5% crit chance. Whereas Galariak at base would be 123. So that's missing out on basically 100% crit chance. It would need 10 status effects on target to make that up. 10 status effects on target to make that up. At that point then, it would be about equal in terms of damage output, and it would pull ahead in status output, albeit missing out on a big whole chonker of slash output that Reaper is capable of. Yeah. If anything, yeah, having that extra 7 points of status is only cute, simply because so much of it is going into puncture, and puncture status effects are basically wasted. Oh sure, yeah, we temporarily reduce the damage of this one target, the one that I'm actively currently killing, and increased my crits by a token amount. Now, when we're talking Reaper getting over 200%, getting even up to 25%, 25 points on top of that is not that much. Yeah. Alex saying, bear in mind, this is after you've done all piece. Galariak is very accessible, unlike some primes. Primes, I would say, just by and large, are the more accessible. Can you even trade Galariak? Is it tradable? Let's have a look here. It says untradeable on the wiki. Is it entirely untradeable? Equipment, inventory, Galariak. Yeah, appears to be entirely untradeable, and it's MR14. It is MR14. We compare that to Reaper Prime, MR10. It's the one I was just comparing against, and that's comparing, as I say, Orphan Prime to Orphan Prime. Or you can trade built versions. Nothing on there says tradable. Could be because I've leveled it, but nothing says tradable on it. So, yeah, if I just... I mean, the absolute authority on this is it listed on Warframe Market? It is not. So, yeah. Basically, no, is the answer. Alex saying, if plat price is not a problem for someone, then primes are more accessible. Trading is a matter of... opportunity for everyone. It's not just any individual worrying about plat. You can still spend time farming things in the first place. As this stack to Harmony? Does Harmony come under the same category? Or is Harmony heavy? I forget. Nope, just normal scythe. Okay, so Harmony for starters has a more unique perk. Heavy attacks condense all status effects over time into a single hit, and also heavy attack kills increase stage duration by 30% for allies. That's actually functionally different, not just stat wobbling. Level 0 Galatine. If you see a level 0 item in my inventory, there's a good chance I've been gifted it. So this was to compare to Galariak. So Galariak has 20 centimeters longer range. We're not going to worry too much about that. It has 0.3 crit damage higher. There's a slightly lower crit chance and a little bit lower status chance. Harmony is not that much better on the status distribution, ever so slightly higher base damage. So when all is said and done, the two come out to be about the same general output. About the same general output. But then, as I say, Harmony has the unique feature to take it a step further of, condensing all of those status effects, and the condensing of those status effects works amazingly with the arcane basically designed for it. Enemies afflicted by status effects gain 6 additional stacks when they're knocked down or flung by melee attacks, which is what this heavy attack does. Attack / knockdown. Super stack, and then cut them. Yeah. So, in comparison on the two there, Harmony for a light attack build is going to feel basically the same, maybe slightly weaker. That really does put the dampers on what we've got to mess with. Because, yeah, Harmony, it's MR10 as well, so it's 4 MR lower than Galariak. And if we have a look at the build requirements there, now you're probably just going to get the blueprints along the way, just because you'll be doing so much to get the focus weapons. You're just going to end up there. There is the matter of the materials for building. Let's see, Agnova discs, 450, 229, 100. 650, 130, 170. Then actual build, 10 Hurricane cells? Ooh, okay. Hello there, Pinsy. Welcome on in. That's, Spruce saying Harmony in a vacuum is also slightly nerfed by having one fewer status. It has an effect. Not one I'd really worry myself with too much, given the nature of the weapon. Yeah. Alright, so this is costing 1100 Agnovis, about 350 Laldalvi, and about 170 Savaris. Let me just compare that to Uriel, just because that'll give me a very quick reference. So Uriel needs Agnovidiscs about 2000. Actually, does it have the exact numbers written down for me? That made my life easier. Come on, Wiki, please. No? Okay. Yeah, about 2000 Agnovidiscs. So this takes about half as much there. In terms of Laldalvi, Uriel takes 880. And this is taking 360. Okay. So it's a little under half there. And then Savaris, Uriel takes 200, 350, and this takes 170. So again, about half. So the build costs are half a Uriel. Simple enough measure. Again, you're probably going to get those resources along the way to getting the focus weapons, the Texas artifacts, but yeah. How do you join the giveaway? You wait for the announcement of when the giveaway draw opens in about 20-ish minutes time. From Alex, market, funny enough, isn't an authority. You can still try buying Vespa 77 despite it being untradeable. Oh, interesting. Okay. Interesting. That's a curiosity right there. I wonder why they have that listed then. Just in where I wanted to be for that. Yeah, it's definitely not doable. How weird. Probably go to inform on the Discord. Yeah. One of y'all could take the credit on that. Beat Alex to the punch. Go for it. You'd write to them, haven't found a convenient way. I mean, if I scroll to the bottom of their thing, is there a contact us page? There's contact us. And it says, contact by Discord is preferable. Alternatively, there is email. Yep, there we go. So, Alex, I found you a convenient thing. Now you can do the rest. Scroll down to the contact us page on the page. Alright. So back to Galariak. I think, honestly, this just runs up against the same thing I mentioned earlier for the Sagek, that is, even if it does come out slightly mathematically ahead, potentially, maybe, possibly, the unique trait is invisible. We gain final crit chance to reach unique status effects on the target, but it is so hard to see that actually really happening. Alex, not happy about those ways to contact. My guy. They have Discord, QQ, email, and they give direct links for moderators, which tells me you've not even tried. Yeah. This is invisible. It's not really that particularly great or useful or interesting. So all you end up with is just a generic set of melee stats under a scythe, and scythes, the ones that slash, are just better at it. Yeah. Now, sure, you can get slash forced on the heavy attacks, but if you're going to go to a heavy attack setup, Harmony's better. It just condenses it down and pop, done. So, yeah, honestly, I can't see how to make that better. And yeah, this is without mentioning hate. Of course, if you then go on to Incarnants, you then get an Incarnate hate, and you will absolutely tear through stuff because Incarnants are just better. Incarnants are just better. Right. The basic bonuses is giving, a little bit extra damage, a little bit extra combo, teeny tiny bit more range, which brings up the range actually quite a bit more. Base status increase. Oh, I could have gone for crits than that. Base crits. I went for status for some reason. Whatever it was. Yeah, you can go various different ways, but ultimately hate is just going to be better. So, yeah. Now, hate is much more of an annoyance to farm. Let's not be ignoring that. When it comes to the scythes, Galariak Prime isn't exactly the hardest of them to farm. Which of these are actually normal scythes? Does it say heavy scythe when it's not heavy scythe? Which one that was a heavy scythe? It is. Hold on. Hold on. Why? Why does the tooltip here say melee brackets scythe, regardless of whether it's a scythe or a heavy scythe? I don't care that there's a scythe category up there. That's not the important bit. I'm already in the category. So that's actually redundant information. Why not just put the actual weapon group? What does it say for some of these others then? Does it say fist/fan on these? It does! I've never looked at that. Are you kidding me? Oh my, okay. Wow. I never actually looked at that. I didn't think to look into it, but there's more than the 8 melee types, by the way. Oh yeah, I know these categories are just summaries. There's miscellaneous, which covers a whole lot more, and these are just labeled miscellaneous. Lightblade has Lightblade, 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 yeah. And then they put two-handed blades down there, yeah. It's there if people don't use the sorting, I guess. But it's then just inaccurate, Ozzy. If I'm looking for scythe weapons to compare my scythe against, I don't want to be comparing it against a heavy scythe. It's a different weapon system. If you're comparing weapons and you've not got into the category, you shouldn't have the Inadem and Nikana Prime next to each other for comparison's sake. They're just inaccurate. All this does is give you the broad shape of the weapon. Which, even then, fists and fans have somehow occupied the same slot. Rather than a thrown... Wait. War fans with their ranged heavy attack aren't in the ranged melee category? Have I tried to do snipers? Oh yeah, snipers have their own set of issues, historically. Although, mind you, the Tenet Envoy no longer shows up here. Yeah, they did change that. That's good. Yeah. Ellie saying Warframe categories are decent enough. Yeah. Damage, crowd control, support, survival, stealth. Honestly, that covers it, as far as I'm concerned. Rifles, machine guns, precision rifles, yada yada. And if there was a distinction within these, I would like that it says it, but is there a... Let's see, if I go beams... No. Bow/crossbow. Okay, again, it says bow/crossbow. It's either one or the other. Like... That's the kind of thing I feel like could have just been written in there. claw weapon is also under fist/fan. What? Huh. I'm just having a look through if there's anything else I'm missing. Venka, fist/fan. I don't like that. I get why they're all in one category together. And I can see why you can't just go with, you know, handheld, because all weapons are handheld, near enough. So, yeah, that doesn't work, but... even hand extension doesn't really translate well enough. Hand attached, define hand attached, plus the war fans you hold. And would we be against having a second row? Or a scroll bar? But I'll be honest, the categories here aren't my biggest issue, although fists and fans including claws is a little weird. That's not my biggest issue. My biggest issue remains the fact that it says melee fist/fans on one that is neither fist nor fan. That's just not correct to me. Ellie's saying there's the entire length of the selection menu they could use. There is the distinct possibility that these buttons get larger on different UI scalings, like on mobile. And so this is the extent of where those buttons go. But that'd be my guess. Sometimes UI issues are a case of, oh, scaling has to be considered, and that I acknowledge. But the text then lazily just referencing that section, that I think is a poor choice. It doesn't take that much more to just create an additional field that is just on the label, because the label is unique to the weapon. Venka Prime is in the category melee brackets fist/fans, close brackets, because they decided to put it there. Yeah. When they had the categories, not that long ago, all told, so a lot of people won't have gotten used to even considering them. Yeah. Miscellaneous categories funny to you? It's interesting what's in here. Like, tonfas feel close-ish to what's going on over here. We then have machetes, which that's not in light blade. Machete, not a light blade. Also, Commander Captain Calamity, with their first ever gifted subs, and 5 of them no less, into the channel here. Thank you very much for sharing that with the community. Let's go out to Jade Rabbit Emperor, to Laszlo Silas, to Brotendo, to Slice of Nut, and to WF Ramington, or Warframington, one of the two. All the same there. Thank you very much, Commander Captain Calamity. Much appreciated. I think that puts you at the #1 and only spot on this month's leaderboard, because it is the 1st of March. Speaking of which, I never actually set a new goal for the month. Oops, my bad. Oh well. I think it's all Zors in Mist, not necessarily machetes. Wait. Hold on. How spell machete? Okay, so the machete doesn't come up, and then... well, that one doesn't come up because... but machete Wraith, then you're going to tell me is in here. Right, so yeah, the Zors just go miscellaneous, despite knowing what they are because it's built. The game doesn't check that far. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Okay. I'm not happy with that. It's a very small detail, but it's a detail they spent the time to make, and it just feels incorrect to me. Whatever. Let's say I've got too used to searching for the weapon directly. For example, typing glaive brings up all glaives. Yeah. Yeah, it does, yeah. You get your glaives, there they are. You want your hammers, there they are. If you want to have your claw weapons, there they are. So... why is a shield in glaives? Shield? Unless you mean over here? Why is a shield in what? Argo and Vel? Am I blind? Oh, that one. Right, yeah. Heavy attack sends forth a glaive that ricochets off enemies. Sorry, I am blind. I didn't see that, but yeah. That's why that's that. Very bright design. Okay, so what are my takeaways for today on these weapons? We have the Sagek Prime, which is a bullet hose precision weapon that forgot it's supposed to be precise. It is functioning more like a shotgun that fires its pellets one by one. Its unique quirk is wasted on its actual nature and functions as worse than a 30% status chance. Overall, would I recommend it? Absolutely not. And then we have the Galariak Prime, which is a scythe. Big old two-handed scythe, but it's just a scythe. A funky design. Doesn't look like the most ideal way of handling a scythe. But ultimately, its base stats, much like the base stats on the Sagek, hold back what it's trying to do in the first place. In both cases, I feel like there are just better options out there, which is disappointing for the late stage progression before you can even access it, and then the resources required to construct it. You can argue it just appears in your inventory on the way to get other things, which partially true on account of just how much parity you need to do to get the various focus weapons. But it's still a fair chunk of stuff, only to have a MR14 weapon there. Is still mastery fodder at that mastery rank? That's rough. That is rough. So yeah, not really on board with either of them. I'll be quite honest with you. I know I've not finished leveling the Galariak Prime for the first time, so I'm going to need to run another mission with that one. I'll do that at some point in the next 10 years. Sagek, all those Omniformers, they've been put to good use, haven't they? Definitely. And them's the breaks. Sometimes I'll check something out and find something amazing. Other times I check things out and I just kind of go, and this is one of those moments. There's enough other good stuff in my arsenal that I just don't need to. Am I not a mastery rank hyper leveler? Oh god, no. I've not chased mastery rank since I was mastery 16. I just kind of let it happen. I get around to stuff. It's why my profile is very far from completed. If we go by progress, scroll to bottom, yeah. Is it because I can't get hold of these? No. It's just because I don't care. Simple as that, really. Which more disappointing, 1999 weapons or these weapons? Same category. I'll be quiet. No, these weapons, because 1999 included the Purgator, which was actually fun to use. These two... I'm just kind of like, yeah. I will say the Purgator is still weird to me, the direction they went with it. It's basically a sniper. But it sure as hell doesn't look like one. So weird. 1999 dual Viscis? I suppose. I didn't really connect with them. And although a lot of people seem to like dual visits, I kind of went, they're alright. But then again, I need to be clear, me and melees don't connect much in the first place. Melee gameplay just doesn't really gel for me. It is so much of just put myself in the direction of enemies, hold E or W and E, and watch animations happen. Doesn't really connect for me. That is how I see it. But I know that's a very personal thing. For everyone else who enjoys it, enjoy it. Don't let me stop you. But maybe not these ones. These two weapons are not the ones to enjoy. Alright. Ads should be over. Good, right, cool. Just needed to check a thing there. Had a ping on the mod Discord again. It turns out it's not actually important. Dual Versus is funny because it lets you do gas, electric, blast, influence. Yeah, sure if you want to. Sure. As I'm saying, Vicious, I'm assuming this is, at least has a niche. Gas, influence, no mods. There it is again. Yeah. And fair enough, fair enough. Alright, okay. I can see that Captain Calamity continues to want to make themselves a Calamity. That is fine. But it is about time we do the final stage of the Vauban Heirloom Access. Vauban Heirloom Collection. Prime Access Heirloom Collection. It makes sense. So, with that in mind, let's take out the out of world music. Let's grab the arena. Round 3 is up and set and ready to go. Let's take my camera out of the way. So the way this works is this is the entry into the finale. We already have 10 names ready to go. I swear, people, just read. We already have 10 names ready to go. We're going to find 5 more people to join in on that list of 15 finalists and see who has a chance to win. Yeah, I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait, because at some point y'all are going to realize that typing enter does absolutely nothing right now other than make the bot and me both a little upset with you. Come on. Actually, you know what? Let's do a poll. I have a poll. Before we get started on this, I have a poll. I'll give you all a minute to vote on this. Just a question. Not a guarantee, just a question. Should we time out early entries? Yes or no? Because then you can't enter. Should we time out early entries? Teach y'all a lesson. He types the prompt when I said it's ready to go. You're listening while doing other things. Listen harder. Ban him, timeout's too generous. Oof, wow, okay. Mods are clamoring for the ability to swing the timeouts. Okay. Unleash early upon them. Oof. So to be very clear, we're not going to be doing this. This poll is entirely for the joke. I just wanted to see where people land on it. But now I see that the vast majority of you are in favor of just timing out people for trying to get in too early. Oof. Especially considering some of you moderators would also be ones getting timed out for this. Don't think I haven't been seeing who's been doing this kind of thing. Some of y'all mods would get yourselves timed out, and that loses your mod status. So no. As much as it turns out that plenty of you would love to see hammers dropped, I would also like to still have a chat left afterwards. Twitch chat being out for blood at all times is already well established. You know what? That's true, Sisyphoo. That is absolutely true. Okay, right then. Now with that aside, let's do our final round of 5 to grab 5 more people for the entries into the Vauban Heirloom Collection giveaway. Words. Let's open the draw. It's now open. Open, open, open. Exclamation mark enter in the chat for a chance to win that lovely, lovely collection. And as a reminder as well, this is not just the skin. You get the entire collection as if you bought it yourself right from the shop. The only exception being that no part of it is tradable. It all comes into your account, courtesy of DE, and you get to enjoy every last little bit of that. It is really as simple as that. So exclamation mark enter into the chat for a chance to be into this final round of giveaways. Like I say, 5 names will be picked up here. We'll take you through to the finale. Those 15 names from throughout the stream will be in it for the final showdown. And after that, we'll do an extra giveaway from some more platinum, because why not? Give you all a moment to enter in on that. We'll do the draw in about 30 seconds, shall we say? Give you just enough time to figure out how to type in 6 characters on your keyboard and send it. Because some phone keyboards can be finicky, I appreciate that. I would say you'll see your name on screen if you have indeed entered. Obviously it is a very busy screen, so you might not see your name very easily, but if you have a look around, you'll see it. You'll see yourself slide on, if you've not already entered onto the arena here. Could I have told the arena to display people more rationally? Yes. Would I have wanted to do so? Nah, it doesn't look as fun. This absolute clustering of randomness is far more interesting. Far more interesting. Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's draw. Let's see who are going to be our third set of 5 to join in to the final draw. Who is it going to be? Now, for the final draw, you don't actually need to make that entry yourself. I'm going to be putting those names directly in because, hey, why make it any more problematic than it needs to be? Why make it a mess? As we go then, our 5 into that final, we have our lovely 5 here. Call it out, Lotus.
Excellent work, Tenno. The extraction point is up ahead.
We have Brotheroni, Snake Eyes 3X, Lime G7, Malasitos, and Etheraric. You 5 are going through to the finale of the opportunities, hoping for that final draw to bring it to your name. And as we do that, Snake Eyes 3X and Lime G7, we don't have your in-game details. So for you two, could you please make sure you use the !IGN command alongside your Warframe username and platform, so we know where that can be sent on over to. Alright, give me just a moment whilst I get that set up for our deciding winner. Just a moment on that. So I need to reset out of that. Let's turn off the command entirely. There we are. And let's grab those 15 names and get it to pass through the extra little bit I created for that earlier. There we go. 15 names confirmed. Are they all different names? Yes, they are. Wonderful. Hurrah. Things have worked. People have been good. Probably. Okay. I'm getting slightly into the weeds of the thing to make this work, but let's see. Here are our 15 entrants. There they are. These are our 15. There's no more entering you can do. These are our final 15. Lemon, why did that not work for you? What, did I accept it? Okay. Lemming, can you try again? Make sure you didn't leave a space after PC. It could have been you put a space there. Because then the bot goes, oh, is there something more coming? From Duxar saying, do you remember when someone won a giveaway when prompted to the IGN command they enter someone else's name? They didn't win, but someone did enter it that way, yes. It wasn't a winner. There we go, Lime. That's worked for you. Okay. That's worked for you. So here's our 15. Let's see. Who is going to be the one who's taken away that Vauban heirloom? We'll just simply run the draw right now. Only one of these 15 can be it. Only one of these 15. Who is it going to be? The finale. It goes to... Elastasquirrel. Elastasquirrel is claiming...
Extraction point is up ahead.
That Vauban heirloom collection. Isn't that wonderful right there? Elastasquirrel, we already have your details. You were with us earlier on the stream there. GG's on that. But everyone else, don't you go anywhere. We're not done. We are not done. Just because that's the Vauban heirloom, and yes, that bit is done, we're going to reset out of that. Because we still have platinum to give away as well here. Absolutely. You were literally the first character killed in a horror movie? Yeah, sometimes that happens. Someone's got to be at the front. Someone has got to be at the front. Who's going to be at the front of this next one, I wonder? We're about to find out. Let's open the entries one last time. This way, it's now for a simple 75 platinum. I'm going to open up the entries, exclamation mark enter, for a chance to win that 75 plat. Everyone can enter this one! I mean, everyone could enter the previous ones as well, but you know what I mean. Exclamation mark enter in the chat for a chance to win that 75 plat. Elastasquirrel, if you're with us right now, please maybe let someone else have that. But I can't stop you. If Lady Luck says you get both, you get both. But, you know, maybe sit back that one. And he's finally got their fashion on screen. Oh, we need more people to enter. Quickly, hide the fashion. I didn't say that. So I'm saying chat going too fast, no one will notice if I admit to. You think it's really that fast, Zom? You think we won't catch a moderator admitting to being a I don't know. No, we'll leave you with that one. I mean, Zom, you're actually the safest one to say it, because we probably wouldn't be able to read what you wrote anyway. You're fine. As we go, damn it, slid right behind a large group of lavo. Ah. Oh. You're in the snake pit. Alright, last 10 seconds to enter. Exclamation mark enter. Last 10 seconds to get in on a chance to win this 75 plat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw. Alright then, only one person can claim this platinum. Everyone else is going to sacrifice themselves on the altar of RNG. Who is Lady Luck going to pick? Lagless Ace proving they actually do have lag. They're a little too late to enter in on this one. Don't worry, there'll be others in future. But you have come in a little too late on that one. Our winner for this platinum is Crixple. Or Cripple. Crixple.
Excellent work, Tenno.
I'm not sure on that. Which letter am I supposed to pronounce here? Maybe this is supposed to be pronounced in a language other than my own. I can't tell. But all the same, Crixple, one of those pronunciations. GG for you there. That 75 plat will be coming your way, and we already have your details on our record. You've used the IGN command correctly, so there's nothing more you need to do. That'll just be in your inbox later this week, courtesy of DE. Yo! And now I can bring my face back up on the screen. Bro, speaking corpus. Very much so. Lesser Squirrel, yeah, let me get you the date the should be handed out, because do you have posted the dates? There we go. Okie dokie. It looks like all the prizes should be distributed on the 4th. So yeah, later this week. They hand them out in batches. D should be having those out to everyone on Wednesday. There may be delays on that. Give it to at least Thursday, just in case. But you should get it on the Wednesday. D are usually very, very good for that. The PL stands for Plat. True, of course, that's what it was. It's Crix Platinum. Yeah, that's very well put together. Absolutely. Alright then. Now that truly is all of that for now. That is where we're going to have to wrap it up. We don't have a raid plan out of here today, so it's simply I'm going to offer you to scatter to the winds. Pick your favourite streams. Pick a stream you've never seen before. Go out and explore what more Twitch and other platforms may have to offer to you, because that is all we've got time for today. I will be live again on Wednesday with some more good old Warframe bits and pieces, but in the meantime, have a good start to your week, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you very much for joining in. Bye-bye. subscribe.